3, 2, 1.
We are the Campy Cast. We always save the day, ba-da-ba. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in Brian, Anthony, and Josh, and furry sex. There we go.
What the actual fuck? Okay, I was not
That was
expecting
perfect.
that.
Yeah.
I was wondering who
I
you were
almost
going to
like
say
got
for
on that.
the.
Okay, Anthony, for the record, it was either that or I was gonna say we should give him that hawk tua. So you know
Why
what?
would you
Oh, okay,
want
I'm
to?
glad you didn't do that, Jesus.
Oh my god. Welcome back to Campy Cast. Also, Josh is back with us for another
Hello.
episode
Yeah.
all about him.
Yeah.
Might as well be, because the two movies we have today are essentially big part of his life, I'd say.
Definitely.
You can
Yeah,
put it that way.
definitely.
Sorry.
In very different ways.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine. But
Yeah.
I guess we can just get right into it, I guess. Now you're
Yeah,
tied with
alright.
Jump
Xander
right
for
into
the most for the the guest that has appeared on the most episodes.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, I
technically,
guess
yeah.
so.
if you count Leprechaun as one episode, they're at a tie right
Oh
now.
yeah, technically.
No,
Yeah.
well, no, I was on the one with Dana, so even if you
Oh
don't.
yeah, I guess
yeah,
if
I
you
guess that
that's
technically
really
does
an
that count? That
episode.
kind of counts.
Yeah,
He was on
I
this
guess.
channel before, so yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You earned the right. So there we go. We're the night. We don't usually get a repeat guest, but I think it worked. Especially this one. I was like, you know what? It's a funny idea because to see the call to our other podcast people. The Dubs he was on for Violet Evergarden, his gay anime thing.
Yeah.
Too many movies, Whisper of the Heart, the other anime thing. And there we go. Here, Wolf Children, a third.
Completing the trilogy. Yeah.
You got your trio here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we'll see when he's back on Lazy Bones' defunct podcast for Full Metal.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I'll go on Talk Tour, the Hawk Tour Gold podcast for that. That's the plan. Alright.
Tucker gave it that hawk to
That's wild.
you
Anthony
won't
would not get that. Yeah, you won't get that at all. Yeah.
Trust me, eventually you'll find that very funny. But anyway,
Sure.
Enough dilly dallying. I guess we got some mild news to get in here to tie into our homeboy again, Josh. Here we got
Yeah.
Minecraft. Yeah, the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, the Minecraft.
I am Steve. The new Minecraft movie
and
trailer,
Steve.
and it does
Steven.
not.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. Like, I don't know if you probably heard
It looks
that. Everyone's
hilarious.
It looks really funny. I don't.
Yeah.
I just randomly dropped. When I first saw that first like clip of the teaser, I thought like, what is this even the movie? I thought this was like a fake ad. I don't know. It didn't look real. This movie doesn't look like a real movie teaser.
The first thing I saw from it was the screenshot of the llama, and I just thought it was like an AI generated, realistic Minecraft image. Because that's what people have said this. It looks like one of those, those like fake trailers that will be like, oh my god, it's the real Minecraft movie with Jack Black and he's Steve. It looks like that. It doesn't look like a real movie.
Yeah, exactly. I remember there were like this like leak from like a book or whatever that would be sold like when the movie comes out or whatever, and it showed like the sheep model, and then there was the creeper, and then there was Jack Black as Steve, and I thought, okay, is this real? I was like, 'cause this looks like a well-made fan thing, but like, no, this looks uncanny. This looks just too weird, like I thought that Jack Black is just wearing a blue shirt. I thought they would nope, he really is Steve, just a guy in a blue shirt. And to be fair, Steve is just an NPC. I really don't care that much that Jack Black is playing him, I mean, like,
the thing
it doesn't really matter to me, but
to me from what they were doing is they wanted to go the fucking meme route with it, because like having Jack Black go, I'm Steve. That's going everywhere right now because it's so stupid. But I think they wanted it to be like, at least have a sort of ironic appeal in that sense. You know,
I
casting
I
Jack
think
Black.
that at least to an extent they knew what they were doing with that costume.
I can
Like,
somewhat see that. I feel like a lot of this might have happened because, you know, after the
Mhm.
Mario movie with that whole thing, you know, the fact that people love Jack Black and that, it feels like this movie's trying to aim for that Mario movie
Mhm.
type hype almost. I don't know,
yeah,
something
that
like
makes sense.
that.
Which is fitting because we discussed the Mario movie trailer on my last episode, or not my
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
episode
I was
before that
thinking
one.
of
Yeah,
pointing that
my
out.
first
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
just
so it all
back
ties together.
back
But
like 2 years ago, almost.
yeah,
I
yeah,
imagine.
wow,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it doesn't look good. It looks pretty funny actually. Just like it just
Uh,
everything looks uncanny and weird. Nothing looks like it's how do you describe it? Like look at the sheep. It's it's
it look,
just
the sheep is funny to me because it's a pink sheep, and I just think of the
the
fucking
prankster gangster clan is
yeah
returning
that
for this
shit that
movie. The
yeah that
for
fucking
those who
channel.
get that reference.
Yeah, I unfortunately
Is
don't
this
get that.
Anthony? Is this how you
Yeah,
feel when you make a reference to
you would
something? I
not
don't
get this.
know.
Okay,
Okay.
so but
Yeah.
in short, it's this like quirky channel called Pink Sheep, and he calls his fan base prankster gangsters,
Yeah,
and
I'm
it's
very
Ah.
nostalgic for that.
I'm not. I just know I know of it.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those were yeah.
Okay.
I saw
Yeah, I
like
would
a
not have gotten
uh,
it. I
You
don't know.
would
I
at
just
all.
think I don't know. Like again, I think they were just trying to do the ironic sort of appeal sense to it. But the problem is, I just feel like it didn't work because now everyone's just actually hating the trailer. People are laughing at it, but you don't know how well that's going to translate. What I'm curious about is how well it's actually gonna, do. Because on
yeah.
the one
I think
hand, this
it'll do
is one of
well
the
because
most
like
It's
universally
Minecraft. People know
spoilers.
Minecraft,
Yeah,
so
that's my
like
thing. It is they got the brand appeal, but I don't know how far that's gonna get when like everyone hates it. And there have been instances like that where like a movie's so bad and people are like, oh, let's go see it. Ironically, I used to complain about that a lot back in the day, not so much
yeah.
now. But yeah, I'm kid. I don't know how far that's gonna take it, or if it'll like. Well, some people are like, oh, can they like an ugly Sonic at the sheep? But the thing is, that way the Sonic thing, which is that's like one character, you can kind of just
yeah,
tweak a model for.
exactly.
There's
The
still a lot
issue
of work.
here is
That's
the
fine.
entire fucking
But
movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not like people are pointing out the sheep, but really the whole thing is just the aesthetic of the movie looks inherently bad. You can't redo an
People
entire fucking
I've
movie because
scrolled through
the visuals
YouTube
are bad.
for the past week. I have seen people make better looking trailers for this
I
movie.
saw a version of the trailer that's just like fully animated in the old like Minecraft 2010s animation style, and it
Yeah, like
looks
yeah.
that was made in like 3 days because it came out 3 days after the trailer did, and it looks better than the actual thing,
The
which is really
fucking
funny.
I saw this
Literally.
trailer of like some like fans trying to bring back Minecraft story mode, and that trailer looks better than whatever this is.
Oh,
So,
okay. Oh.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Also, but
People
man, you
want to
know
see
it's
the
bad
movie.
when people are saying apologies to Minecraft story mode. By the way,
Honestly, I think they should have made it a live action Minecraft story
that would
mode.
be
That sounds
funny.
fucking
That would be really funny,
that sounds
actually. Yeah.
hilarious.
I never played the
Yeah,
entirety of that game, but you know, it
I
would
did.
be
I liked the part where Steve decided to wash dishes or kill himself. But yeah,
fucking
That's
uh,
I love that gift.
yeah.
yeah,
But
Uh,
like the weird thing is, I feel like it would have been not only cheaper to do like actual like Minecraft, like the game, because they have like commercials and stuff that they could do that easily. But also, it would have more like market appeal certainly, because the whole thing is
yeah.
like, yeah, you got Jack Black as Steve, but who fucking a kid is not watching a movie because oh, there's a celebrity in it. They're watching because oh my god, Minecraft, I love Minecraft,
Minecraft.
and that, and
yeah.
I just think inherently, I'm not a big Minecraft person at all. I'm nothing against the game. I think it's a very cool concept, but it's never something I got into as much as like millions of other people, literally. But my whole
Yeah.
thing is like the whole appeal of Minecraft is an extent is like, kind of, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can build whatever shit you want. That's the whole thing of it. So making like I think it's just the whole thing, making like a narrative around that seems kind of defeats the point of it. But I don't know.
They tried to make a narrative around it before, and that was Minecraft story mode. So
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think people like that ironically, but fuck, I doubt that actually has a good.
Oh no,
Nice.
it's like it's
I
like a
don't
very cameo based game. That game.
with Dan
The
TDM and Stampy and
Yeah, oh
that
that
thing.
chapter in it's so funny. They just have a
Yeah,
bunch of YouTuber cameos and they're their actual names. But nah,
That's funny.
you're definitely right about that. Like the trailer just inherently doesn't the visuals of it. It's like just make it fully animated at that point because the live
exactly.
action people
They don't
do not
fit in
clash with
at all. It looks so weird. Like I can never see these real life human people. I physically cannot picture them properly interacting with that fucking pink sheep that we see. You know?
Oh
Hmm.
god, imagine how it's gonna look when like they have to fight like the CGI characters in the
They're
movie.
gonna have
It's
to
gonna look
fight the
so
Ender
stupid.
Dragon, and that's gonna be a
Oh
huge
yeah, they are.
CG clusterfuck, probably.
It will.
You think
Oh
maybe they're
god.
trying to include a bunch of like Minecraft YouTuber cameos, like the
I
fucking
think
FNAF
they're
movie?
doing
That's like
Dan TDM because he said that he visited the set of the movie, so he'll probably be in it.
That
what's
makes
that?
sense.
No, it's all
He's like
just
an
fucking CGI.
okay, that's true. He visits the green void.
Yeah.
Oh, you visited
Yeah.
the green screen. Good job,
Yeah,
my
I'm
guy.
curious to see
Yeah.
like how they'd implement those cameos, like because it's a
Yeah.
lot of people complaining. It's like comparing it to fucking Jumanji when they like, oh, they're
Oh
going
yeah.
from the real world to the game world, and then they're gonna meet this guy
Whoa,
who is stranded in the game world, and then he's gonna have to introduce them.
whoa.
Like there's gonna be a
No,
scene in the
okay.
movie when the tree breaks, and then they're gonna be like, what? How is it not falling? What the
Oh
fuck?
my god, they're gonna do like a bunch of jokes where it's like, oh, a Minecraft thing, but it's not like real life. No, okay. The funniest thing, the first movie I thought comparison I thought of with this was fucking Playmobil the movie
Oh, I
because that
can
has
see that
I never watched
actually.
it.
Yeah.
I never
At
did.
least that
it's
movie's animated throughout most of it though and isn't
yeah
doing
yeah
this CG crap as bad as
yeah but
that movie is. But if we're comparing
yeah.
it to that as well, that's
I'm
like
curious how it's going to be because it's like clearly the plot is okay. Real humans enter the Minecraft world. You see them enter like a portal that's not actually in the game at the start. But it's like, how are they going to get there though? Or how is that going to? I don't know. I'm curious about that aspect. I guess. But
yeah, I like
mm.
I like how there is in terms of some small specifics, I like the brief shot when there's a creeper behind Jason Momoa and he's either
He's
gonna
standing
say
right behind me,
one
isn't
of
he?
two things, yeah, like you said, that he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Or he's gonna say, "Oh man."
Creeper. Oh man, yeah.
That they will
I hope that.
totally do that. If they had Matt
I
Pat say
really
it's
hope
just a theory in FNAF, then they can do
they'll get
this.
Captain Sparkles to
Hmm.
say, "Oh, creeper, oh man."
Oh
Oh
man.
my
No,
god.
Still
have
do.
Captain Sparkles voice the creeper. Have that
Oh
happen.
my god,
Do we still have
that'd be awful.
he's
That
right
sounds
behind me, isn't he? Jokes
That's
unironically. I can't.
crazy.
I
The
really
fucking
hope
new
they do.
Deadpool movie had that for some reason.
Wait, really?
I mean,
Oh my god, did they do it
no,
for real?
Yeah, they did
they
it
did
for
it. No, they
real.
did it.
Oh my
No, they
god,
did it
that's
as like a.
crazy.
No, they did it as a joke to like mock the MCU and that. It was like, oh, welcome to the MCU after they did that. But
Hmm.
now they
Oh,
did do that. It's really lame.
that's
Yeah.
lame. Of
Yeah,
course,
it's
Dwayne
Yeah.
wanted
not in a
something
way
different,
that really makes fun of the
but
trope,
uh,
but whatever.
Yeah.
But
They
it's
may
stupid.
try and do that, but it doesn't
It
like
doesn't
work.
work.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyways,
But now,
back to good looking movie. I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
well,
yeah.
In terms of like other things, I like many people have pointed this out, and I find this like also kind of like bizarre. But you see Jason Momoa craft this thing, and it's not even a thing you can make in Minecraft, which I think is a
Yeah,
bizarre
like
thing to put in a
like two
teaser for this
buckets
movie.
attached to a. What is it? I don't know what that's
It's
meant
like
to be. It looks
two buckets attached to each other with like a chain, I think. Yeah,
could be
yeah,
it's an
that's what
completely
odd
it
thing to
is.
do if you want to appeal to like the Minecraft fan service crowd. Then it's odd to do that since like you're not gonna get them hooked in that sense. And then people who don't care about Minecraft like me, it's like this is fucking gross. What
You think you'd
Yeah.
are
have
you
him like
doing?
build a sword or pickaxe, something recognizable with the Minecraft brand to
Yeah,
show off
yeah,
this
literally
new
just get
teaser.
him like, oh my god, he has a diamond pickaxe. Wow, that's so easy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Exactly,
yeah.
Also,
exactly.
another thing, I found it funny that they played like they blasted a Beatles song in the
Yeah, they've
trailer.
got Magical Mystery
Yeah,
Tour. They have like
I was confused by that because I've noticed with like most of these new video game movies that are coming out, we've seen this in Mario, we've seen this in the new Sonic trailer, uh, and like You notice how they usually try to get their fans like pumped up by playing the music from the games, but no, they didn't do that here. Like, well, I wanted
Well,
the
see, it's kind of hard to do that with Minecraft because Minecraft music is very like quiet
calming. That's
sounding.
true. I mean,
Yeah,
I want.
exactly.
It would be funny to see them try. Like, I wanted Jack Black to sing the song about him placing blocks and shit because he's in fucking Minecraft.
Oh, they should. No, they should
Oh,
have put on
but
a Minecraft parody song in the trailer. They should.
nah.
That would have been very weird,
If
but
they
They
also
put
should
the
have.
really
fucking
funny.
mining away song, I would have died. Like,
Oh, that
nah,
would have.
nah.
You know, that would weirdly like that would if we're comparing that to this
Oh
and
man.
the I am Steve thing. Wait, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like if that was in the trailer, it would have perfectly accompanied the I am Steve
Yeah,
scene.
mining. No, immediately after it just goes mining away. Yeah, I see that. That's funny.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
I am fucking Steve. Have you guys seen that video where there's
No.
like oh, you guys, it's funny.
See, my
No.
only it's funny. I'm like old on this shit. Where the only Minecraft like parody shit I'm aware of is this video that was on Cinemassacre called Minecraft with Gadget, where this guy Mike Matei worked with the Angry Video Game Nerd. He talks to this really shittily like MS Paint drawing of Inspector Gadget, and it's supposed to be like a diss on Minecraft for being like lame or something. But it's like it's such a bad attempt at a joke that it loops around like 5 times into being like ironically funny. I don't know. Everyone
Okay.
watch
Yeah.
the video Minecraft with Gadget. I can assure you it's very funny. But
All
point
right.
is, Minecraft movie, yeah, it
It
really
really
does look
is
that bad.
that. Yeah.
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 I
Another
hate it.
thing I wanna say is that like I think one of the main things I'm like actually curious about with this movie is whether at this point I'm pretty sure it's gonna be bad. Like usually with teasers, I don't just immediately go there, but then you see the concept of this movie, just like everything about it right now, and I'm like, I just know this is gonna end up being bad. Like
I mean, obviously, yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
like
yeah,
just first off, the big
Yeah.
elephant in the room, the visual effects are definitely dragging this down incredibly hard. Not to mention just the premise of this story just seems very lame and somewhat soulless. I feel like Jack Black will probably like I hope he's a great actor, he's very fun. I think I'm kind of happy he's playing Steve. I think that's funny. Like
Oh,
obviously, you know, they
definitely
just
funny.
put the guy in a blue shirt and called himself Steve. To be fair, having a
mhm.
realistic depiction of a Minecraft human would be incredibly cursed, but also probably look really funny. We'll see
Oh,
how they.
It would
that
be
would look
fine if
good
he did an
one. Yeah.
animated thing, even then. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
there's also interested to see what a villager is gonna look like, or what a fucking
Oh yeah.
just like what anything is gonna look like, really, just like the stuff we haven't seen.
It's gonna look like AI generated images just for
It
the whole
probably will,
movie.
like some of it. I
Yeah.
really did think that sheep that we saw in that leak was probably might have been fake, but then I saw like, oh wow, we're really doing this route, huh? Like just
Yeah.
I forgot this has been in the works for 10 years apparently. I didn't even know that. Like
Yeah.
this has been in production for a long time. I'm pretty sure
Isn't
longer
that
than the FNAF
that's longer than
movie.
the FNAF movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say
exactly.
that.
Like that movie, you know, at least
Yeah.
when we got that trailer, it looked like a FNAF movie, even though the movie itself was kind of bad. But like,
Yeah.
you know, but here this is like 10 years and we get this shit, like whatever the hell, literally. And also, another funny thing, I know this is like a very long dissection of one trailer, but I swear this is like the most I thought about a movie trailer in a long time. Like, holy cow.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But like, I know, I feel like okay, no. The director of this movie, who directed the Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, specifically said that he did not want an ugly Sonic situation, and that has not aged well. That has
Yeah.
not aged well at all because
They
literally
kind of got that even worse.
yeah,
So,
even worse. Like
yeah.
literally everyone is like just memeing. It's like a laughing stock right now. There's no way they're gonna switch it because I'm genuinely curious to see what the budget of this movie is. Like,
I
Oh
think they
yeah.
quite literally can't switch it. Like you
yeah,
can't
exactly. Half of
overhaul
this
the
movie's
Yeah.
VFX for
probably
the
gonna be
entire
green
movie.
screen. Like they were kind of tricking us with some of those practical effects. I imagine.
Mhm.
So like, yeah. But I just wanna see the next trailer, see if this movie at least looks funny. Like I feel like Jack Black's probably gonna be the funniest part of the movie, just based off of that "I am Steve" line. Uh, and
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think I can take anything that's gonna happen in this movie seriously when the sheeps look
Oh
like
no,
that.
definitely not. When just everything looks the way it
Everything
does.
looks like that, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not gonna work.
It's just not gonna work. It's not gonna end well here. It's not. Like
Yeah.
I can just I can already picture that Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's comparing. People are comparing this to the fucking Borderlands movie that came out, for Pete's sake. Like I
Oh
doubt it will do that terribly because Minecraft is a much more recognizable IP. But like, yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe it could end up in that quality. But then again, this looks funnier than the Borderlands movie. At least that movie just looks
yeah.
lame.
Yeah. I
Anyways,
guess.
that's all I have to say about this one
Yeah,
movie
you guys
trailer.
covered it pretty well. I'm not like I don't care about Minecraft as much. I'm not like offended from that perspective, but
I'm just more
um,
baffled by like what they were thinking here, and just very interested in seeing the final product for this movie
yeah, yeah,
in
definitely.
April of next
Yeah.
year. Well,
I have
we will be
quite the
watching.
history with Minecraft, so yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Mm,
Who doesn't? Apparently
Exactly.
Matthew, but oh well.
Yeah.
We can't all
Yeah.
vote. That's fair.
oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
news. Nikocado Avocado has tricked the internet and
Yeah.
has lost weight. How do you guys feel about this?
I
I
think the
think
one. I
it's
think.
all right. Yeah, you can go first, Josh. I'll say what I
Okay, no,
have.
I think the way he did it is absolutely insane. 'Cause it's not even like, oh no, he went on a weight loss journey. It's no, he hid it from everyone for 2 years, and also the entire time this was supposedly his master plan, and he was just putting on a persona.
Mhm.
That is like
That's
wild
funny.
shit.
Like I was not like
It is.
seeing. Imagine seeing that video. Like he also watch a bit of the video. He seems like much more calmer and like quiet,
Yeah,
and
no,
also
he
more.
acts like completely
Yeah,
differently
like
in it.
he like
So,
you see his videos where he's just like over exaggerating his pure rage. I don't watch a lot of him obviously because he just eats him a lot. So
Mhm.
I've mainly just been
yeah,
exposed to
yeah,
him through multiple memes and videos making fun of him throughout the years. But you know
He's
what? Good, genuinely good for him for losing all that
yeah,
weight.
yeah,
Like
definitely,
I'm genuinely
definitely.
happy for him for that, and he does seem a lot happier now. His whole
Mhm.
villain monologue in that video is also like I don't know. I
You
remember
know what
I
I will say?
you
It's
go.
very funny that he calls it like 2 steps ahead. Like he had this whole
This is
thing
the greatest
planned out.
social experiment
Yeah.
ever, or something like that. Yeah.
See
Yeah,
what okay, what I will say is it's very funny how he like did that whole thing, obviously hiding everything, pre-recording videos, doing that. I'm holding. It's really funny. There was like this fucking 7-hour video going over like the tragedy of Nikocado Avocado was to like be. I didn't watch it obviously, but it's supposed to be like delving into his history and how like. But how's he been there, like ruining his image for his weight? And the day after, it's like, oh yeah, I'm skinny now. Then
yeah.
that whole fucking 7-hour thing that's gone, rip. But
I just think like it's not even the fact that he lost all the weight; it's the fact like for ages he had this really bad image of like, oh, this guy's destroying himself. Oh, all he does is eat
Yeah,
himself to death.
everyone was
And then
laughing at him, and like for the past few
yeah,
years, he's been like working to lose weight, and apparently everything that like he's been uploading was recorded beforehand. So
yeah, because he has videos from like a few months ago, but they were pre-recorded, so he tried to trick
Yeah,
people even
so I
more with
guess
that.
yeah, and he also
Yeah.
shaved like his
oh
entire
wow,
hair, which I was not expecting that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, good for
Mhm.
him. I don't really have much else
yeah.
to say about this, but like it was a very, very big surprise, and I think this is going to be a very motivational story for many, especially with those struggling with weight. So I'm happy for him, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very happy for him in that sense. I will say, the one I don't follow much about him as much, but what I've heard from other people, he's also done like even besides the white actually weird things. We were like, oh no, he lost all his weight, so I guess he just kind of like that. That it redeems this whole thing. Like, I sure you have this whole master plan, but what did like doing purposely like even ignoring the weight? Apparently, he like I forget the exact thing, but he did like something like weirdly like explicit or like leaked something really weird. I forget the exact thing. I don't
Ah,
know much about this, but the point is like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to be like, oh, was that part of her master plan? But I
well,
don't
that's
know.
that's the thing. He was acting like he was putting up a persona as part of this,
I don't
but
know.
it's
I
still
think
kind of
he's
weird in
trying
the
to
sense of
like.
like,
Honestly, I think he just wanted to lose weight, but he's trying to make it into like a whole
Yeah.
big thing of, oh, look at how smart I am. Like, bro, you just put on pounds and pre-recorded stuff. You're not that slick. You know what? It was very funny and it caught everyone off guard. So good for him. Good for
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
one more thing, I found this funny video online based off this, where it's basically his villain monologue, but it was basically like playing the Five Nights at Freddy's 6 ending in the background, which I thought was funny.
That's funny.
So I thought I'd just share
Uh,
that video. You'll probably
uh,
find it if you
uh,
search up Nikocado Avocado's villain monologue or something, if you're curious about that. But yeah, I thought it was funny. But yeah, good for him. And I guess we're done with news. Those were the main two stuff that has happened in the last week. That yeah. But
Yeah, there's
anyways,
really not much. I'm trying to see like the current news is not really anything that big to report on. Be like, oh, this is a big thing. This happened.
yeah,
But
the Minecraft thing was the main thing. So
yeah,
yeah,
really, we're blowing up the internet. I will be
yeah,
watching that when that comes out.
definitely.
Maybe we'll talk about.
Yeah.
We'll probably end up talking about that too. Why not?
Oh, cool.
Cause yeah. But anyways, let's get into the movies today that Josh has a
Hell,
very like big relationship with. I guess we'll go in
hell
release
yeah.
order, starting with the very first anime that we've ever talked about, anime related
Is
thing.
it? Oh
Is
yeah.
it?
well,
I
I guess
think
it
it
is.
I
is.
guess
Pretty
I'm
sure.
pretty sure. Um, no,
Okay.
actually, technically, the fucking '80s Mario movie was an anime way back.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
okay, yeah,
But
but that's like that's okay,
I
yeah.
don't think anything else though. Like,
the
if
first
I'm being,
like traditional anime, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mainly meant. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's cool.
let's hope this isn't a but anyway,
Mm.
Hey, hold on. There's some good anime out there. Okay,
yeah, all right.
Greg,
Yeah.
you should have a bias against like Bocce the Rock Anthony, but
No,
that's a
no,
topic
what?
for
No.
another day.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's just get into the
Ooh.
movie Wolf Children.
All right. Nice.
I think Josh is going to very much carry this discussion. So if he ends up
Yeah,
Fair
talking
enough.
more
we
than
could talk
us,
like for
then
half of this. Like, yeah, it'll be fine. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've got like a million pages of notes on a bunch
I
of
Jesus
didn't
different
take
Christ.
stuff.
any.
So,
So
I took like
yeah.
there you
barely
go.
any.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah,
So,
take it away. I probably will agree with most of your points. You can introduce it for us.
okay. So, Wolf Children was directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who has okay. So I'll point out this guy has a really funny filmography because he has like a bunch of other movies. He has Summer Wars, Belle, some other stuff, but then he also has three Digimon movies and a One Piece movie. So you know
Oh,
he has an interesting history before this. But
the Digimon movie stands out.
I hope
but then
it's not
there's like three of them, which is
I
funny.
hope
Three
it's
of them.
the
Damn.
Digimon movie that caused the divorce. But
The
what
Angela
The what?
Anaconda thing. Yeah, that was funny.
yeah.
That
Oh, I
fake
know that. I know
rumor.
about that. I know what you mean now. Yeah.
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 But
Anyway, should I just introduce what it's about? I guess.
it's
So
about a mom that raises two wolf children.
yeah,
It's
Wolf
about a
Children.
mom
So
who fulfills her animal fetish and
Man,
dies.
furries are
She's
gonna
like,
feel so seen with this movie, huh?
well,
it
no,
was so
because
funny back when
YMS doesn't like it.
it's funny back when Josh very kindly introduced this movie to me. We're like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
you gotta watch this. It's so good. And they read the title Wolf Children, like, oh, what do furries fuck in this? It's like some furry
This
thing.
does seem
He
like
was
a furry
very
movie.
offended,
That's funny.
very, but
It was a very
it,
yeah.
it, um,
It's a red
sadly, they
flag
don't
when
even
you see
show the.
wolf in the title, and then everyone's like, "I'm
It's such a
out."
ripoff, by the way. Don't even show any wolves fucking on screen. Like,
How dare they?
God damn.
This is not the fan service type of anime that you
I
want.
bet the
yeah,
furries were losing it during that one transformation scene at the start of the movie.
Just that's the reason why MS doesn't like this movie. That's what he thought was missing. Anyway,
he probably liked the Zeus scene. Am I right?
that's wild. Anyway, uh, I guess I'll just introduce like this movie. So it starts off with Hana living her life very normally. She's in university and she meets this very mysterious seeming wolf guy. And I love all of their first interactions a lot because they show a lot of the simple ways that they start like connecting with each other. I like that the this is a small thing, but I like that the initial thing with Hana is him wanting to help him out, her wanting to help him out with stuff. And she's like, "Oh, you might want to sign up for this at college. You might want to make sure that you have that." It's like it really well establishes who she is and how she's someone who just wants to do good for people. Oh, it's not even the actual opening. The actual like opening scene I really love where they have this really nice lullaby song, and then it's just this cut to her in the field,
The
and then there's
music
just
of
like a
this movie
narration.
is beautiful, by the way. Like I
I know,
can't lie,
right?
it's
It's
very
Get it
so
on
so
a
good.
good.
lighting
Yeah,
argument on top. Mwah.
yeah,
It's really
Perfect.
definitely.
relaxing and calming, which really fits with the tone of this movie.
I
It's
think the
great.
color palette really helps us in the designs. It has
It's
like
a
I
gorgeous
don't know how to
fucking
describe it, but
movie.
it's a very like you said, laid back feel to it. It's really nice. But
Yeah. And
yeah,
that fits like the tone for a lot of it because a lot of the movie is just very simple scenes of showing her raising the kids. So having that I think fits a movie like this really well. But
um,
that's just like something I really love about this movie in general. The fact a lot of it is told very simply of just showing scenes of them living their life because that's like a good amount of what this opening establishing stuff is, just showing them gradually getting to know each other, them going out and talking. Oh, there's this bit I love where he's talking about how he wants to live his life in a way. Oh, I can just go home and kick my feet up and stuff. How he wants to. He mentions like really simple like stuff he has for his life that he wants, and then he almost reveals the fact that he's wolf. So it's showing like him trusting her enough to like put something out there like that, and then later on he reveals it. I like that because it's like they're almost close enough for it, and he's giving her like a lot of personal information. Yeah, that's neat.
Hmm.
Let me check my notes again. Uh, you guys can say anything you want about the opening stuff. I'm just checking
okay.
my
I
notes.
Yeah, I did
really like
enjoy
Yeah.
the way just a lot of that. I thought it was a good way to set things up. My thoughts on this movie are like very like, oh, this is nice. I like this part. I don't really have too much to analyze personally with this stuff, but like,
That's all right.
I still
And you got
enjoy.
someone who
Oh,
can do the work for you.
yeah, definitely.
But
I know you've seen
what I
this.
really like
This is
about
I've
the
seen this movie twice, and I
oh,
recently
I mean,
just rewatched it for the first time last night,
I,
and
yeah,
I've seen this
me
movie
too. Wow, what a
nine times. So
no,
yeah,
that's fun.
yeah,
You know
probably
what I
yeah,
count on
really
that.
like about
yeah,
the opening. Well, I guess not directly the opening, but then like afterwards, like you have all these nice bonding scenes of Hana and the others kind of talk. It's nice, very
yeah,
wholesome stuff. And then you kind of get the oh, she's out like oh the weather's not great. She goes out, which parallels later in the movie, by the way, when the
yeah.
fucking climax
When
happens.
the ending is
Like
the
they're
storm as
both like
well.
bad
Yeah,
weather when the wolf goes out. It perfect story
yeah,
structure. The point is, she runs out and she's like, "Oh shit, he died," and it's like, "Oh okay." Which
They don't
first of
even.
all,
I like
great,
that entire
great.
sequence. Like very like sad. Just seeing like the dead body of the wolf just being carried away and disposed of because that's what
I
happens with
love
wolves.
that there's like a complete lack of music in the scene. They just have it like shown such a raw reaction to it. They have
Yeah,
her
it just
running
shows
up.
the empty silence and just the
Yeah,
sadness
it's
being
so
felt.
good.
It's
Yeah.
very
Uh,
well done.
Great,
yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I have a really good scene before this where they're walking and talking and she's talking about her dad and how he installed an attitude in her where she wants to smile through everything and how I love that her
Oh yeah, that was
name
a nice.
is like
I
yeah,
liked
she's
that
literally
part
named
of
after
that thing.
smiling. And I think that scene is really crucial because it's establishing her whole attitude of even through like hardship and like whatever she has to work towards, she keeps up her positivity and her like
Hmm.
determination to do good. And I think establishing that there when they're getting to know each other is really important because he ultimately is her driving force for a lot of it. Because in any scene where she's like struggling most, you see her looking at his driver's license and reminding herself of that. And I love that a lot.
I like the part where she's like, "Oh, I gotta smile all the time." She mentions like at her fucking dad's funeral, she was still smiling. Even like I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
that because it's like
that.
that's the attitude that her dad installed in her, and it's like even during a or obviously depressing moment like that, she still tried to keep it up. I love that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That was a nice
I.
bonding moment between the two parents.
yeah.
There.
Mhm.
I also love okay immediately after the scene where he dies, you have the bit in his driver's license. How she's talking about how she's going to make sure she does a good job at raising the kids, and then she starts crying, but then she smiles, and it's like that shows because the smiling really does represent her trying to keep up that positivity and her good-willed attitude. So having
Yeah, I
that
like how that's
there,
kind of a common thing, like that is focused on throughout the entire movie.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, that's so good. Uh, and then after this, there's like a bunch of scenes of her just when the kids are really, really young. And I love all of this 'cause it's like they're very charming scenes. There's a bunch of fun scenarios where it's like, oh, it's a typical parent thing, but they turn into wolves. It's very, very charming stuff. But also, it does such a good job at establishing like the realistic struggle she'd have with that because she takes
Mhm.
it all on herself. She doesn't go to like any authorities or anything. She's like, no, I have to do this. I have to make sure
Yeah,
of it.
this
They
is
even
like a
show
very
I
like,
really like.
realistic depiction of this
Mhm.
type of situation. Like the
yeah,
scene where she's
exactly.
wondering whether to take her
Yeah,
take
that
one to
that
either the
moment,
vet or
the vet
the
or the doctor,
fucking
yeah,
hospital.
It's a funny
yeah,
visual joke because like left, right, it's silly,
It's like
but
yeah.
yeah,
that's a perfect way of establishing the themes of the movie. Which path are they gonna go down? Having it like a
yeah,
metaphorical
exactly,
path.
Yeah, a huge part of the
It's
movie is
great.
the fact that both of the children are like going down different paths in some way.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah. There's one of my favorite bits after that is when she's talking about how she wants them to move away to the countryside so they can have a better chance to like choose their own path if they want to be humans or wolves. You see Yuki is standing on just standing up, and then Ame's on all fours, which foreshadows like the fact
Mhm.
that Yuki's the one who stays as a human and Ame becomes a wolf. And literally in that scene is her talking
Mhm.
about them going down those paths. I love that. I caught that like my second time I watched this. I'm like, oh my god, that is
Yeah, it's really good.
such
Like, 'cause
good foreshadowing.
it shows, I think, a good example of like how to properly use the medium. Because like in animation, you can include little details like that, and they're not gonna like. You can do that like easier than other places. I think that's a cool, really neat thing to include.
Yeah,
I also like how they kind of purposely do this, but at the beginning they're kind of like more like it's more like reversed because there's a lot of parts in the beginning where Ama is the more like reserved one. He's not like and then like Yuki's like running around the bunch, doing a bunch of shit. And then eventually, as they start to get more of a figure for their fucking environment or whatever, that kind of reverses. I think it's a neat way
yeah,
of showing
it is.
the whole theme of the movie that like the whole thing. I really resonate the whole thing of this. I love stories about how life's just not a set fucking path, and there's like you can forge your own specific like
Exactly,
thing. There's not like a
exactly.
set line for anything, and this movie kind of shows that with in a very fantastical fantasy way, but it still shows that with like wolf regular life and how they both paths are shown to be valid. They're just in different ways, and you're not
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
bound to a set one. And
Exactly.
I think that's a really like interesting thing that the movie does for like that sort of metaphor without it being they don't beat you over the head with it either. It's a really
Yeah,
really
they they
well done
they do
stuff.
it in a way that feels very natural. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
do love that.
It fits the story too because not like it's like they do it for like a metaphor sense, but it's not like dragged down by that too much. It all
Yeah,
fits in
exactly.
super nicely, super
I
naturally.
do I do love
Love
the whole thing of how they naturally grow more into the other sides because, like you said, Yuki at the start is more like outdoorsy. She collects like bugs and animal skulls and stuff, and it's like more natural. Like, oh, I want to go and play with the animals in the forest. And then Ame, because he's younger, partially, is like more reserved, and he's like, there's a really good scene I love where he's like, oh, why do people hate wolves?
Oh
I,
my
I
god,
don't
that
want to
The
do
scene where he
that part is
reads
no
those
so
like
no.
children's book and always sees the wolf as like the
Oh
villain.
my
yeah.
god,
I
it's
think
Like,
that
it's
why
was
is
a
so
the wolf
very
sad.
always the
Oh
sad
my
bad
god,
guy?
scene. It was like, oh,
it's
this poor
poor.
kid.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's too
It's
sad.
but Anna's response to it is so sweet, where she's like, "Oh, but I like wolves." And even if everyone else hates wolves, I'll still like it. It's like, her
Oh,
giving
that's
him like that little reassurance is so sweet.
mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I love how naturally they do it. 'Cause it's like when Yuki, she naturally grows away from it. Because it's like, okay, she wants to go to school, but she doesn't fit in with school because she has those more outdoorsy tendencies. So she tries to lean more into the side of being a normal human. And that's really good when you get to like the second half of the movie and she starts actively resenting that wolf side. And then this is getting a bit ahead of myself, but with Ame, it's like he has that really bad experience where he falls into the river, but that's like after that he's like he leans more into his wolf side. So it's like, well, he got a rush from that. He got a rush from trying to chase that fucking bird he was trying to catch. So it's like even if that
Mhm.
was a bad experience for him, that made him lean more into wanting to explore that wolf side. And in the
It
end, that's
also
what
Yeah,
makes
that
we
made him
sense
want to like
because
kind of just, explore the forest more, and he just like, he's much more interested in like the wolf side of it all
it
in that
also
way.
makes sense because the whole
yeah
conflict of that scene hinges on he's not a wolf. He's just like a fucking that scene is so tense, by the way, because I have this
yeah
first
I
of
know
all
right
beautiful scene. Love the smell, love the lighting there. Part of the playing,
yeah
it's so wholesome. There's a lot
that,
of
that, that part
the
that
first
part
half
the
of the
music in that part is so good. The
oh, it is. I
dun
love it.
dun
Love it.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
my god. Great, great.
it's so good.
And, see, a lot of the first half is just nice because like, oh, look at the little kids, they're so nice, just enjoying wholesomely. Hana too,
Yeah,
she's the most dedicated person of all time, so
I
wholesome,
know,
so
right?
nice. But
Yeah,
yeah, then, the fucking yeah, the scene where it's, like, so sudden, "Oh shit, he's falling down," and the tension sort of rises and everything. I love, first of all, I love that, like, after the fact Ahmed just kind of acts normally because he doesn't really process what's going on.
I
So it's
love
like,
that
oh shit.
he starts talking normally, and then you see the cut to Hana, and she's just like in distress, of
Oh
like
my god, yeah, I
both
know. Oh my god, it's
and
so
so
good.
really, and then she just
Good.
like pulls them both in for the hug. It's so like both
Yeah,
relieving, but also like devastating that she was
yeah. Oh my
that
god, I
worried in that
love it,
situation.
love it. Also, I was,
Yeah,
but what I was gonna say
yeah,
is it makes sense why he veers towards being a wolf after that because the whole thing hinges on he's not a wolf and he's about to die because of that. It's cold and shit.
yeah, yeah.
You know what?
Also,
Even if he doesn't process, subconsciously, it kind of makes sense.
it
Really
does, it does, yeah,
stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, you could say, yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of just like really charming bits with them once they've moved to the countryside. There's one bit I love where they've got these people visiting, and Yuki's like going down a staircase, and she turns into the wolf, and they're like
Mhm.
I think it's their family dog, and then she comes back around, and it's Yuki in human
She
form
just kind of
again.
fucks with them by accident.
Oh my god, I
Yeah,
love that. She's such a
Yeah,
bitch.
I thought that was
it was
Because
funny.
she says that
yeah,
right after. She's like, "Oh no, I can hide it. I can hide it." Like, okay, girl, whatever.
Well, she
yeah,
keeps
yeah,
switching
yeah. When she like
from a
yeah,
human to a wolf just so seamlessly, and it's just kind of like tricking them into thinking that they have
yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, it's
I
so
like the
funny.
bit. I like the bit before that you mentioned where Hana's showing them like a scrapbook version where she's being like, "Well, you need to hide your wolf form so people don't get surprised, and you need to be nice to the animals in the woods because it's what your dad would want." I find that bit really sweet with how they portray it through like coloring book visuals and stuff. I like that a lot. It's neat.
I know this goes
Uh,
without saying, but yeah, the visuals of this movie are really,
oh, I
really,
know, right?
really good. So
I mentioned that snow scene, but it's
every
so
scene
beautiful.
in
That
like the snow, in the wild, like all the forest type scenes
The,
are
the the
really
the
great.
forest in this movie when like Ame is running around with the fox looks so good.
Yeah, yeah, the
Uh
landscapes, the way those are drawn,
yeah,
everything looks really good.
yeah,
Oh,
definitely, definitely.
I
Uh,
love it.
I
Mhm.
like the countryside setting in general and how they show that being a more positive thing for Hana because it's like they show her like growing fruits and stuff and giving that to people, and it shows like more not just through her helping her kids, but her helping other people, and I think that really shows her like positive, goodwill attitude even more so. The fact that she actually does that, and I love it with okay, they have this guy who's like a grumpy old man who doesn't like. He comes up to her and is like, "Oh, why are you smiling so much? You shouldn't be smiling."
That was
And then
cold.
yeah, but I love that because they mention that he is the one who does a lot of the good stuff or gets a lot of people to do the stuff to help Hana. And it's like even someone like that who has a more like nihilistic outlook, she's still able to impact in that way. I think that's
Yeah.
really, really neat. I love the bit where they're standing near each other and she's smiling, and he asks why she's smiling, and she just starts laughing.
That
But it's
was
like
nice. A
even
lot of nice moments
yeah,
in this movie. Just a nice movie.
it's
I can't really see
it's very,
anyone
very
hating
nice.
it in any way.
No, definitely,
It's one
I
of
definitely
mean,
not.
those
It's a
why not
very
say, you know,
well,
we
yeah.
know why he didn't have enough of the animals he wanted.
Yeah,
But
it's a very, it's just very on top of being very thematically resonant. It's just such an easy movie to be charmed
yeah,
by.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that it's so
Mhm.
like just any just scene of them chilling and Hana raising her kids and just doing anything is just really nice to watch. I love just seeing all of it of them living their lives. It's so so sweet. What
Yeah,
was
exactly. Great
it?
stuff.
Hold on. Yeah.
Um,
I'll let you guys say something if you've got anything more on like
yeah.
specific scenes.
Let me think about.
I like the
Um,
relationship Yuki forms with the boy at her
So
school.
hey, yeah,
No, yeah,
yeah,
I forget his name. My bad.
yeah.
yeah,
That's better.
yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, it's a nice simple relationship. This movie
It
just
is. It
feels
is.
very genuine with the relationships with the characters. Like the
Mm.
fact, despite like you hear the premise of this movie, you read the title and you think, oh, is this gonna be one of those like shitty romance movies? Oh, this girl's gonna fuck a wolf, but he's also a
I'm,
human and whatnot,
I'm
and then they're
telling you,
gonna
they
have
didn't even put it
children.
on screen. It's like
Yeah.
it's a ripoff. It could have
Uh,
been like Twilight for anime people, and they didn't do it.
what? Okay.
Damn it.
You act like that's
Uh,
a bad thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
See, Georgia, this is why you need to watch Beastars. All right. Anyway.
okay, okay, bro. Okay. All right.
But
If
no,
it's
no.
not getting
See,
carried
I,
away,
You guys are very
anyway,
strange sometimes.
yeah,
fair enough. Anyway,
that
I was gonna
is
say
valid.
about the them growing up further thing. There's this really good shot that I like. That's just like their school lives, but they show it through one shot of just showing
Oh yeah, I
them
really like
growing up.
that. The
Yeah,
pan right
Yeah,
and
like the
pan left. It's
grade,
really good
like
storytelling. I like.
like the screen is kind of like panning to like different like grades over time, and you get to see
Mhm.
like
yeah,
the
that's really
characters'
cool because it's like they want to
attitudes
do
and
that time
thoughts.
skip,
Mhm.
and I think that's a really creative way to go about it. Just showing it through one shot of them growing up
This
fast. I
movie's
really like
great at
that.
showing things visually.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
great
Mhm.
at
I
that.
I
mentioned
really
the
like the
visual.
part where like it's a little before this when Yuki's first in school. She shows other kids like bones and shit. That I like
Yeah,
that a
and
bit.
Yeah.
then she comes home and is like, "Oh, I need to be more like the other kids," and Hana's like laughing about that. It's very very sweet how she
Yeah,
wants
it's
to
the whole. Again,
integrate into that.
that's another part that shows like the change in minds. Like she's like, okay, I can't be like weird with this stuff. That
Yeah,
they push in the other direction. This eventually leads to the part where she fucking bites the guy Sohei's ear, which that part stood out to me a lot, especially on this rewatch because I forgot how they don't show a lot, but they kind of get away with a lot with a little because they're doing the whole thing. And the scene's presented very well. There's like he's being confronted. She's like being literally blocked into a corner outside the school. And you're like, okay, where's this gonna go? And then she fucking they don't show it exactly, but you get the shot of her fucking pouncing over, and then you get him covering up his ear and all the blood's coming out, and her just kind of
yeah.
sitting. It's like okay,
It
it's
it emphasizes the shock of that moment really well. Also, her
yeah,
expression after doing that, it's like she
The
looks
heavy
so like
breathing, just like the
yeah,
yeah,
everything
yeah.
so
about it
You
so
do
is
it
sweet.
really
very
unique. I appreciated that a lot. Like, oh wow, holy shit! But
Yeah,
it's
I love that whole thing a lot though, because it's like by that point Yuki is ignoring her wolf side a lot more. You know, she wants to present as normal in school. She literally runs off saying, "No, I can't be a wolf. I can't be a wolf." So then when that gets let out, it's like it comes out in its rawest form, and it leads to her scratching him. I also love his reaction to it about how he lies, not lies, but like avoids around the truth in order to get her out of trouble. Because it's like he says, "Oh, a wolf did it," but obviously he's not going to say she turned into a wolf and scratched me. But it's like they say later in the movie that he knew about it the whole time. So it's like he purposefully does that in order to get her out of trouble, and I think that's very very
yeah,
sweet.
it's a good thing because it's
yeah.
Emphasizing
like
that
not
bond.
technically lying, but like okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the
exactly.
ending, he says he knew, so it's like wow, he did say he wasn't lying the whole time.
Yeah,
crazy,
exactly. Yeah.
wild around
And
there.
then I love this because at the same time as Yuki's like suppressing her wolf side more, Ame gets way more into it. They show him going. This is before the time skip, but they show him going to the zoo and meeting this other wolf. I really love that bit. I think it's neat that Hana goes out of her way to find more wolves, and it's like, can you teach my son anything? I don't know about this side of him, you know.
The scene,
I think
yeah,
it's
like
Yeah,
very
them
sweet.
going to visit that one depressed wolf in a cage.
it's a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
convenient that the guy running the zoo leaves, of course, but
For those of you who don't get the joke, that's what YMS said about this scene.
Oh, really?
We've brought him
I
up a
think
few
you, I
times.
think he did, I think he wanted to be alone with the wolf. If you know what I'm saying.
That's
Oh,
wild.
man.
I kid.
Anyway,
It's in good fun. It's in good fun.
it
But
is, it is.
yeah, I like the
Yeah,
again. This is a
but yeah,
little
no,
later than this, but I really like the where um Ame and Yuki at this point, because it's like it's been a couple years and they've like this is where they're like entirely going different paths, and you just have that scene of them arguing. This is a slow build. They're just talking. She's like, "Bro, why you, bro, go to school?" He's like, "Nah, fuck off." And she's like, "Ah, bro, for real." She's like, "Nah, I don't give a shit." And they keep obviously phrased a little more elegantly than that, but and they like they're which was a great scene, really like attacking, pushing each other. And it's a really good foreshadowing for the ending of the movie because Ama and Yuki, they're fighting, right? And this is one of the only parts after the ear thing. I think maybe actually, well, there's that, and then like the scene in the school. But it's one
yeah,
of the rare moments after that point in the movie where she becomes a wolf again, and it causes this whole conflict of things, which communicates first of all, that like Abba being there, she brings out the wolf side, which she doesn't want to, the path she doesn't want to go down, and also that him being there bring it literally brings out that side of her that she doesn't want because she wants to be more human like and not have that wolf
I
instinct,
like that
which
whole
foreshadows
scene
why
where
they
they
can't really
fight.
coexist in that environment anymore. Which ties
yeah,
to the end.
exactly.
He leaves and he goes, and it's like perfect foreshadowing about
I
to
love it
drop.
because it's showing like at
Love
that point they're
it. Love
very
it.
set on their paths. Ame's
That's what I
found
was
like
gonna say.
he's found his sensei in the forest and it's like okay he wants to spend all his
Yeah, they're
time there.
getting like so caught up in their lives that they're kind of, fighting because they don't really
It shows
understand their
that like
paths
that
properly.
both of their paths diverging directly clashing, and I think it's really
Yeah,
neat because it's like
it's a great scene.
yeah, it's very impactful that they're like literally like attacking each other, destroying shit. It makes the impact of that like really feel felt. That even
100%.
before that, the conversation is really neat. How they're both like living a fair like route in life because they're not normal kids, but Yuki wants to be a normal kid, and Ame just wants to
Be a
do his
wolf.
own thing. Yeah, exactly. But it's really good at showing they're both going down their own paths and how that
Mhm.
realistically would clash. And yeah, I think it adds a really good layer to the ending where they both find like fully their own way. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a really good bit of Sohei that I like after where Hana brings him to the house and she's like, do you hate wolves after that? And he's like, well, no. I think that's sweet because it's like, first of all, it parallels the bit where she tells Ame, no, I don't hate wolves. It's like, that kind of adds to one really neat thing I do is how Sohei and Yuki parallel Hana and the wolf guy at the beginning. That's really obvious. That's obvious in the ending where Yuki reveals it, but I think that scene is really good at setting it up. How
Mm.
she doesn't. He knows, but he doesn't judge Yuki for that, and he still likes her as a person, despite
Yeah,
what happened.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Neat. Very,
yeah. It is.
very well
Yeah,
presented. Then
yeah,
shortly after this is the whole climax of the movie, which I think is again, like I was talking about earlier, like the beginning with the fucking rain and shit, bad weather. That's at the beginning. Now it's here at the end. Simple sort of story structure thing, but I think it's very cool how they do that. And then they get the tension really well. All the rain's coming down, very well done. And then Alba just kind of like sneaking out, and how that kind of what's the word? It kind of like it's cool how the like that like crux of it is both of their stories because Ame's resolution comes from like the rain and shit, like Hana's coming out from that, and fucking Yuki's resolutions in the school where she can't go anywhere because of the rain, and again, it shows like the
Yeah, I love that because it's like it links it in a very natural way. There's like he's going this way because he wants to be with the rain. She's staying in because she doesn't, and that kind of represents the light, the paths they want to go down. I think that's
yeah,
very neat.
yeah, neat,
Yeah,
very, very well done in that sense. I
uh,
love how here we get the scene where okay, Hana's going out, and that scene is just it's so sad. She's like
yeah,
desperately
I know.
running.
She's
Oh,
she's like
I gotta get him, but
she's
and it
so
can't.
desperate, yelling out "Ame, Ame."
Yeah, literally. Oh my god, it's
So
so sad. It's so sad. And then
yeah,
she's coming
yeah,
out, and then we get the fantasy scene right where again loops up to the beginning again, and it's kind of scene that kind of communicates a lot of the things in the movie where you get the speech from sorry I forget what's his name again, the guy, the furry guy. Yeah, okay, I forget his name because he's not in the movie for that long. But yeah, great character. But he's talking to Hana. But at this point, she's like, first of all, it's so sweet when she's like telling her she did a good job, and it's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I
They're
love that
going,
so much. Yeah,
yeah, she
yeah,
really put in the effort, and it paid off. It's so sweet, so sweet.
Hmm.
But then just the research of like, Abe, he's got his own path now. It's okay, and they're gonna like go down a fine area, and then we eventually just get then shortly after this is when they cut back, and it's Anna carrying Hana out, and it's such a bittersweet thing because obviously, like child leave inherently a sad thing, especially since you
yeah,
literally have the full scope of his life up to this point. We see when they were born, young childhood, full evolution of both of them going down their own paths. But it's
yeah,
sort of a bittersweet thing where that like hurts, but he's actually going down, like he's doing what he wants. He actually has his own path, and as much as this is the thing I really like, and I think it really ties the whole movie together. Because in the beginning, we have the furry guy dies, and that's so
yeah.
sudden. But there's a whole wholesome thing about how him and how Hana is motivated by him the entire
Yeah,
movie, and how that
exactly.
pushes her
Because she's
forward.
always looking at his driving license, being like,
That whole
"What?"
thing always pushes her forward to do better
Exactly.
and to want to like strive. And that's I love stories about how like how much impact one person can have in such a little time. Because
Yeah.
she probably didn't know her comparatively that long, that like approximately her life, but she made such a difference for her. That's why Amphibia is
I,
like my favorite show. What do you know? But
that's true. Yeah.
yeah, but my point is that whole thing is like it's like that at the beginning that motivates her. And at this point, when Ahmed leaves, it's kind of the same thing where now he's going to be gone from her. But even despite that, he's always going to have that large impact on her. They're always going to have a large impact on each other, which is communicated when he does the fucking, the howl at
Oh,
the end.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
peak,
That's a
So
nice
peak
sweet.
right.
moment. Yeah.
So good.
That yeah, that
Love it.
perfectly summarizes it. Yeah, and
Love, love, love.
the bit where he's just running up the mountain, like fully fulfilled, and she's finally able to accept. Yeah, go and live your life. Ah, it's so beautiful.
Oh, good.
And then that like shot of the sunset coming up, and that the music. It's so good. Ah, I love it.
Yeah, it goes without saying. I think like a great thing. I just like I really like how this movie just shows the joys and just like the hardships of parenting in that way, and how like
It shows
just
like
both
despite the obvious
taking care of
hardships you
like
have,
humans
doing all of
slash
doing
pets.
all of this like on her own, not just raising two kids, but raising two kids that she can't fully understand how to raise, and
Yeah,
then she
sometimes the
still
kids
does
can
like
turn into pets. Sometimes they can just
yeah,
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like
yeah.
it
You
leads
you
to
have
a
to tell
good
them
and
not to do that. Yeah,
it leads to a
Mhm.
powerful story, and
definitely.
everything is
Yeah.
done in a very despite the supernatural element, this movie is still able to like be very real and
It feels
genuine when
so
showing
like
parenting.
genuine. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very
that's why
definitely.
I'm
human
happy this wasn't
story in spite
a
of
movie
that.
about a wolf man and
Yeah.
the I don't know, girl fall in love. I like how
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just a small thing at the
It yeah.
beginning.
Mhm.
I,
I
I,
like
I,
how
only a
with
portion of
both,
the movie is that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like how it kind of like works on both sides of the story as well. Because we're talking about the whole Ahmed's resolution, and that's great too. But the whole thing with Yuki, because she's still trapped in the school, she shows so the guy,
So hey,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I cosplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shows the guy that he was actually a wolf, and there's that whole thing there, which is great
And
scene. I love the lighting there.
that
Oh,
parallels
scene.
the bit where the Wolfman reveals the harness so well, because it's like
yeah,
she found the person that she can trust in that way. Through I
yeah,
love Sohei's dialogue here, how he's like he has that rebellious spirit that Ame would have. Like he's talking about how he doesn't think his parents care about him, so he wants to go and do stuff on his own, and that's like enough for Yuki to connect with him because like she's not the one going off and doing stuff on her own, but she was the one forging her path in this way. She was like, no, I don't want to do the wolf stuff. I want to be a normal person and go to school and fit in, you know? So it's like, in a way, she still did pick her own path. So having someone who understands that, it makes sense why she'd reveal the other side of herself then. And it's like, again, it's such a good parallel to the opening, how she found someone that she's able to connect with
Yeah,
that in that
someone her
way.
like age, and that she was finally able to like open up and connect
Exactly,
with like
exactly. And
someone from like
it's
a human relationship like that, and
yeah,
therefore is able
and
to
it's such a
confess
beautiful
properly.
visual of the curtain like crossing over her as she like transforms. It looks
You know,
so
yeah,
good.
it's
I
a
love
great visual. You know, I find it
yeah,
a little bit cheesy, but not in a bad way.
I think
Okay,
this
in a
movie
great
is inherently in a
in a
lot of
good
parts.
way.
I don't know. People substitute cheesy for being cringe now when things are like just God forbid
It really
something's actually
depends in certain
emotionally
exactly.
sincere.
situations, but in
But
this
I don't know.
case, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
This
yeah,
say. I
movie
definitely
definitely has
wouldn't say
that.
it's the bad type of
It's
cheesy.
good. It's just a mostly
definitely
wholesome
not.
movie. It gets that.
Definitely, definitely. And then yeah, so both resolutions, both of Yuki and Sohei and with Ame and Hana were very, very nice and tiled.
They all tie into the
Perfectly.
whole thematic conclusion of the movie, though. Especially the whole Yuki thing. How like showing that she turns into a wolf, it still shows that like she's not
Yeah,
entirely
exactly.
divorced from that
That,
side. And it's like you even though she has one path, again, the whole thing of the movie is you don't have to go a directly straight path for life. Even you can that other side of her still exists, even if that's not prominent, because
exactly, and
things
they
are
show
not
that with
black and
Ame
white.
too. With with him doing the howl at the end, it's like he still has that side that he still obviously cares about Hana, and him doing that howl, knowing that she's there to listen, shows that so well. And I love the resolution Hana gets in this so much, where she's still at the house, she's still able to connect with them. They show her like being so like proud of both of them. When Ame does the howl and she just smiles, like that's so nice how like proud she is of him, despite the fact that he's not in her life as much. And with Yuki, how that showed that the photo of her graduating, it's like it's just such a nice thing of how
Great
content she
ending in
is.
general. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
she sees, and they cut back to her looking at the photo of the wolf guy on his driver's license, and she just finally like it ending on her smiling is so perfect because her smiling represents the whole character and how she just wants to do what's best, do the right thing, keep positive throughout everything despite the hardship she faces. So
It's
her
also
finally
one
being
of
able
the
to make an
first moments of connection she has that even brings her the situation she's in now. So that's a cool.
yeah, exactly,
Know,
yeah.
and
But
it's
yeah,
nice.
and
Very.
yeah, it's just really nice seeing her finally be like, yeah, I did it, and finally being able
Yeah,
to be content in that way. I love
yeah,
it.
you did. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
Peak.
yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful ending in all ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of my thoughts of this movie just come down to that. Like, wow, this is such a nice movie, you know, about like parental
it is.
struggles and relationships and stuff like that. And just, it's a very, despite, I mean, the supernatural element, it's a very human movie in that way.
I see it most as a movie just about making the most of life and doing what you think is right. And that's what all three of them do, really. Hana does it through raising them and sacrificing. She's like at the start of the movie, she's just like a university student and she does all of that despite how hard it is and like largely by herself as well. And then through that, they're able to forge the paths that make them happy. It's
Yeah, it's just
beautiful. I
follow your
love it
own path
so
in
Mm,
life.
much.
The simple but very
Yeah,
meaningful message in terms of how it's executed in this
definitely.
story being told here.
mm.
Yeah, yeah. And at the end, they
Mm.
have like a rendition of the lullaby at the start as well.
Yeah,
I
oh
love that
yeah,
a
it's
lot.
nice. I like all the
Yeah,
scenes where Hana's just like in that what is it? Like it's like in this like place that's like filled with clouds and whatnot. Like when she encounters like uh what does the wolf guy have a name? This
No, okay, I looked up. He has it begins with an O, but they never call him that, so I just call him the Wolf Guy.
the wolf man.
Mm.
Okay,
The
I like
Wolf
how
Yeah,
Man.
I was
Yeah,
wondering because
I'm fine
I
with
was like,
him
did I
having no
forget his
name.
name or did they just never say
Yeah,
it?
I
they
You know?
never
swear
say
they
his
never
name.
said it, so I was like
They
just
don't. They
wondering.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
recall them, but I like when she's in that like the visual of her being in this
In
like
in
empty
the
type
field, yeah.
heavenly zone, and then
Yeah.
she later encounters him.
Every time they cut back to that is so good because they have that in the opening to introduce the movie. They have it
Yeah.
when he dies, and they just see him walking away, and I thought that shot is like so devastating. And then they have it to tie it around where she's like, "You did a good job raising them. Ame's okay." And it's like having that like beautiful visual in that moment where it's finally like, yeah, she did it is so good. I love it. Yeah,
1,000% true. That's great.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I see you wrote a ton of notes. So if you have anything you can rattle off extra, Josh, you
Uh, let me
can.
check. Hold on. I think I got everything, but I'll
Okay,
check.
because I think we went pretty concise, just in case you have anything thinking
No,
about.
I didn't. I got everything I wanted to. It's just
All right, it's
the
good then.
Yeah,
yeah.
I really did not take much notes throughout this movie. You know, and you might have noticed I was a bit more quiet in this discussion as usual, but that was mainly because, you
Uh,
know,
Mm,
like I definitely love this movie, great movie, definitely would rewatch it again at some point. Uh, you know, I just don't like it as much as you do.
well,
Uh,
I mean, I have it like top
like
four,
you
so
said, I
you
don't
know.
like it as much, and you also have that out of 10. So
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
speaking of which, I was
Yeah.
about to say that, but I think I
Mhm.
was like, I mean, when are we revealing our ratings? Like, do we have anything else to
We
say?
can do it now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty much
I
done.
know I had this at a 10, but I was very flimsy on that for the longest time. And you know, it's that I don't have any problems with this movie. Like really,
Bye.
I just don't. I just don't think it's like a 5 star for me thinking about it more.
Oh,
I
All right.
just
Well,
on
it's
the
a
whatever.
very solid 9 out of 10 movie though.
I can settle for the high 9. I can settle for
Yeah,
the high.
it's like I don't know. Just thinking about it more, I was like very. I don't know. It's
Mhm.
like I'm very rare with like a lot of the tens, and like so I was a
I
bit more
can respect
flimsy with
that.
Yeah, I
this
Yeah.
one.
respect that
So
about you, Anthony. You don't throw them out all willy nilly. You're like, okay,
yeah,
if
so
it's
yeah,
a 10,
but
it's a 10.
yeah,
10.
but
Yeah.
regardless, it's still
Yeah.
a fantastic movie, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy you guys
Yeah.
loved
I'm
it so much.
assuming me. I mean, I'm obviously gonna
You
go
guys
with
kind
10.
of revealed your ratings when we
Yeah.
were
I
discussing
mean,
that.
that's pretty obvious. I said it. So
Yeah, you guys
yeah.
It's
basically said your
fantastic.
10 out of 10s.
Fantastic movie. I should watch it
Yeah.
if I have children at some point. I'd probably like cry if I did that.
This
But I
movie
know.
made me not hate children, so that's fun.
Yeah, yeah. See, this fucker Josh over here, he hates toddlers unless they're an anime or manga. The bastard.
Yeah, unless it's Wolf Children or the manga Yotsuba, I hate children.
Fair.
That's the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
exactly. Speaking of
Hates
children,
children, but
sorry, hold on.
oh, oh.
Speaking of children, this child got a massive neck in Steven Universe,
See,
the movie.
that's the
You know,
movie. Hell
Uh,
yeah.
I
I
probably
have a
could
funny story. I've actually this isn't the first. I okay yeah. I've seen this
have. Okay,
now.
okay,
We
but
have
it's
badmouthed Steven Universe a lot on this podcast. You know, I feel like we've
And I
been
will
doing
not
that
have it.
since
I'm
the
here to stand
beginning.
up. I'm here to stand up for the show. I don't think is that good at all.
see, the
Yeah,
thing
that's why
about
we brought him on for
Josh over
this.
here, I've seen him all across the map. He used to hate it. He used to say it's fun, but I hate it. He used to say, "Oh man, I hate talking about Steven Universe." By the way, here's 5 seasons of lore.
See, that's like
and
the
Perfect
and
person
and
to
now
get
we're
on
here.
for this episode.
Exactly. I thought these
I
were the
have
two perfect movies to get him on for. There you
definitely,
go.
exactly.
definitely.
Now I have seen this before. I watched it like
Mhm.
I think I watched it when it actually first came out.
Yeah, you did. I
I did.
remember this because you
Yeah,
I
watched it
watched
when
it
it came
several
out.
times when it came out.
I
So
have I'm gonna be honest. I have a confession. I make fun of Steven Universe a
yeah,
lot because it's a very easy show to make fun of. But I think in general, if we're talking
that's
the whole
true.
series, series. I have probably seen only like 2 full episodes, and the rest has been for like Cartoon Network clips that
Do you
I've seen
remember what
online.
happened in said episodes?
Not
I could
really.
tell you.
I mean, I
I,
know
I,
one of them
if
was
you,
the finale of Steven Universe Future. I'm pretty
oh
sure.
yeah, I did show you that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was.
you did. We did a VC
Well,
of that.
actually,
Oh, my God, that was so funny.
actually,
Oh, my God.
technically, it's the second to last episode, but you know.
I knew you were gonna bitch about that.
Yeah.
In
I know,
fairness, the actual finale is worse. Like, oh wow, he went in a car and then he left. Okay,
yeah,
great.
it's so lame.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Get
Anyway,
in your stupid
should I
car.
give like
I don't
a
come back.
brief history of my history with Steven Universe? I feel like that's
You
kind
know
of
what? Go
important.
ahead. It's
Let's
fun.
start
So,
this
I
documentary.
know it, but for the
yeah,
audience at home, they don't know it.
this
So.
is gonna be a documentary, right? So I've been
Okay.
this show has been in my life for a long 7 years at this point.
Jesus.
So yeah, I hopped on maybe the worst point in the show. I hopped on at the start of season 5 when the show just completely falls off the rails. But you know what? I was like 11 years old. I didn't give a shit. I loved everything about it. And then
W.
yeah, W, yeah. And then if we can time skip to early 2019 and the ending happens, and I'm like, well, that was a bit rushed. But it's not the actual ending, guys. Trust me. They're gonna fix it. Trust. And then they didn't. And then I was like, oh, I hate Steven Universe now. Oh, Future is so bad. And then I realized that I actually love Steven Universe, but I think it's shit. and, and then I decided that I should rewatch the whole show for the third time. And
All because Haruhi pissed them off a little too much one night.
yep,
But
yeah, exactly. And here we are in the future.
I get it.
right.
Yeah. Here we are, the future.
I used to when I first saw this movie, I saw it for one. I literally saw it because I saw the clip of the other Friends villain song of the movie with
I love
Spinell,
Friends.
and I thought,
Yeah.
whoa, that's cool. That's a good song. And then I'm like, I haven't. Maybe this is the way I get into Steven Universe. So I decided to just watch the movie, and you don't. I mean, I
It's
guess
a very
like.
confusing way to get in. I'll explain this from the perspective of someone who's seen the show. It's a very confusing way to get into it because they technically give you background info. They have the whole opening where the genocidal dictators tell you a storybook. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I was like 12 when I first
They
watched
kind
this
of want to
movie,
lead
so
you into it, but also not. They're like, oh, this was
Yeah.
Steven. They went on all these stories.
This was the tale of
and
Stephen.
where
And
he's
then
at
they
now.
basically
Which,
summarized like the show, but I'm assuming
the
they
thing
leave
is,
out
it
a
doesn't
lot
really
of
work from
details.
another perspective because
for the record, the
people who
opening summarizes maybe like the last 5 episodes of the show.
you see, the thing is,
Okay.
for people who are fans, that didn't work because the movie came out like a couple months after the show ended. It's like this shit's
Came
fresh
out
in their
in
mind. They're not gonna forget. This isn't the
so,
plot
yeah.
of Suzume. And then like, but for people who don't know, it's like okay, you got a little bit, but when they get to fucking the homeworld, right? Wait, not homeworld, Beach City at the mix of the two places. But they're there and they're like, okay, there's Peridot and Lapis and
No
Bismuth.
Minecraft
Yeah,
reference?
they're never mentioned, so they're not gonna know who the fuck they are.
Actually, in fairness, the three of them don't fucking do anything. So maybe
That's true. They try and set them up doing stuff, but they don't.
I just
But
know
see,
that they
it's
have
so funny.
they
There's this
attempted to
dynamic where
kill
it's like,
Steven at
oh
some
man,
point, as they say
they're
in the
like, oh, man,
movie.
is Steven, Peridot, Lapis, and Bismuth and Spinel, are they gonna be our main crew?
No,
And then they
it's
don't
just
fucking do
Steven.
anything. So it's like,
It's just
okay.
Steven. It's only Steven.
Literally, I do kind of like that shot at the end of the one song where they're all
Yeah, it's
fucking.
pretty cool. Yeah, but no,
Yeah,
okay.
it's really good.
It's very funny because the opening song, well, not the third song. Okay, for the record, this movie has
Paul
16
probably knows the
songs.
order each song
I
comes
wasn't
in.
counting.
Oh, I do. I could name off the order of all the songs right
I
now.
mean,
if
to
you
be
want.
fair, that might not even be that hard of a thing to do, but like, I don't know. I don't know what's order. I forget
This
what
movie
order.
really, okay, for the record, this movie really wants to be like a fairy tale musical because they have like the opening bit's like, oh, it's a storybook, wow. And then the first song is literally, the third song is literally called Happily Ever After. And then
Literally,
at the end they're on like a musical stage. It's so goofy.
That's like a common trope of a lot of these like cartoon movie type things based off of shows. They become musicals for some reason, and
Well, no, that's the thing. Steven,
Well, Steven
Steven
Universe
Universe already has
is a
like
musical
ton of
one of the
already,
only
right?
music.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless you were-
but like that's the thing. 16 songs in a hour and a bit movie is so excessive. Like
the thing
every
is,
other scene is
I
a
would
song.
say I like, or at least I would listen to outside of the context of the movie, like a handful of them.
I would.
The opening one I
And
find. I like the recap song, even though it's
yeah,
recapping
yeah,
events that don't make sense. That one's fun.
yeah,
Spinella gets two songs. One of them is great. I love the first
yeah.
one. It
The
the
It
first
is
one of the things
great,
I even
yeah.
like.
I always
Yeah,
loved that song, and I honestly still think
yeah.
it
it
holds
is.
up really
I do.
well.
I
Yeah,
do.
it's what I forget Spinella's VA, whatever her name is. She's so good. I
She is
love
the
her.
best
Yeah.
part of the movie, Loki. I think
Yeah.
Spinell in general is like the main thing I like about this
Spinella
movie. I think
frustrates me
there's
so
some
much. I love
issues
the fact.
probably with like her
Yeah.
backstory thing, but I
Spinella.
still think she's like
The other thing, the thing is, I love everything about Spinella except for her, like technically what the context of her in the story is. It's really
That's
annoying.
the thing.
The thing is,
She's an extremely entertaining character. She's just not a character that makes sense in
yeah,
any
exactly.
way.
yeah.
Exactly. Because here's
Yeah.
the thing: I love her design. I love in the
It
see people
reminds me
make
of
fun of
Cuphead,
Steven
so yeah, that's a
Okay,
cool
that's
design.
fine.
Oh,
But see, people make fun of Steven Universe for being off model too much, and I think that's a whole other debate you could get into. How some people are too picky about that, some people are too weird about that. The whole can of worms maybe for another day. But point is, you can't really make fun of a character for being off model when they're based on cartoons that regularly did that all the times. You know, it fits her as she like fucking squashes and stretches, moves all around. I love how she
It
fucking
looks so
pops and
cool.
then she
Yeah.
like
yeah.
gets rid of everyone. And the song, the
Yeah.
peak, I love the whole thing.
The
Great.
visuals of it are so good with her like stretching around all
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
place. It's so
especially the Anaconda
creative.
peak.
Mhm.
Love it.
It's
Love
kind of a shame because they have like that really dynamic animation in that bit, and then for a lot of the rest of the movie, she's more stiff than that. But obviously, it's like they go all out in that fight scene. It looks really cool.
Yeah,
But
it's a good scene.
Yeah, but anyway, so then there's all that, and I think she's great. They kind of do a good balancing act with her. Where I think she's supposed to be annoying in universe to Steven, being like, "Oh my god, I hate this character,"
no,
because
she's charming.
there's more
Yeah.
annoying in this movie, I think. But,
Oh,
she's fun,
definitely. Yeah.
and then they get to the climax, and they're just like, okay. They get then there's their second song, which I think is it's great.
What
It's
was
really
the
It's a
nice.
great
second
song.
song
It's
Honestly,
again?
just
it has the
Just
one
Away.
GIF I like using when she's like
Yeah.
standing still. Use that
Whether
whenever
she's
you're making fun of someone
Oh,
being
the
years,
spin.
still.
Oh,
years
yeah, the
go
second spin-off.
by.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing about that thing is, the whole okay. First, there are two layers to it. The first one is, see, I'm no EFAP plot guy anymore. I've ditched that mindset as people
Yeah.
who no. But the thing is,
Yeah.
I think the whole thing of okay, so she's literally okay. She's standing there that long for that long. Okay, bro, did really not get the hint. And then that's not really what I care about. It's a little weird, but they're kind of like not program. There's like they're very like gems and of that type. She's supposed to be very strictly
See,
listening.
what I question is like, if you watch the show, it makes less sense because they established that Blue Diamond is mourning Pink Diamond a lot and like visits monuments of her, but somehow she never visits this garden in like thousands of years. And it's
I think
like,
this whole backstory, this motherfucker, ain't no way she just waited there for 10,000 years. That's like
no,
very like
it's like
goofy, weirdly, and
you can say
exaggerated.
like, oh, she was like really attached to her, so she didn't want to do anything out of line for that. But also, they established that Spinell's really high energy,
Yeah,
so I don't believe
exactly. That doesn't. I don't believe that. Yeah,
she wouldn't just she
she's
wouldn't
known
just.
to be clingy and like very wacky in some
But see,
cases.
what I question most is if there's like this thing here that conveniently can send her a message from Steven to inform her. Why does like nothing else reach her?
Yeah, why
Like, is there just
are you telling me there was nothing else that really reached that in
Also,
10,000
that's the thing.
fucking
the
years?
other weird thing you have to consider beyond that is there's that. But the thing is, that message is at the beginning of the movie when it's like, "Hi, I'm
Yeah,
Steven
time wise,
Universe."
it makes
They
no
were
sense.
like, which first of all, that scene is really funny. He's like, "Hi, I'm Steven Universe. I
How's it
established
going,
that's
everybody?
everything,
Yeah,
and everything's
yeah.
good." And it's like, oh wow, nice job, buddy. I hate this line later where he's like, oh man, I love everything the way it is now. Yeah, I can't. I
Right,
don't
no,
want
he's
to
like,
be like
darn it,
this
are we
forever.
gonna be
And
like this
it's
forever?
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's set up like a Butch Hartman joke because the next thing Garnet's like,
And then,
No,
then
Steve,
the
I
opposite
don't see
happens.
that happening. And then
yeah.
pulls up. And
Okay.
then for the rest of that one scene, he's bitching like, I thought everything was gonna be perfect
No,
forever.
during that one song with Bismuth, he's so emo where he's like,
I hate
happily ever after, there we were.
no, oh my god,
Come on, bro.
that song is so
He's so
corny.
fu-
He's just like,
I
This
know, it's
entire
so funny. He's
movie's
like,
really corny, but like,
oh, it is,
yeah.
absolutely.
I mean,
I
to be
love
fair, that
the
is that is like literally the main thing I feel like most people know about Steven Universe. For those who haven't seen it, is the whole redeeming thing of redeeming like the
Yeah, and I
diamonds,
can talk. I
fucking
was gonna
diamond
talk about
Hitler.
that. I'm gonna talk about that with the diamonds now in this opening because it's so
Yeah.
fucking goofy how they frame it, as if they're like old relatives get messing stuff up, and they're talking about
literally.
You
about
killed people.
yeah, no, it's so funny. I love Blue Diamond's line where she's like, "I never shatter, I never make anyone cry," and it's like,
Bro
what?
says
Your
she
your,
says
redemp-
it so casually, man. It's
your
so
your redemption
dumb.
is that you don't kill people anymore, and then White
Well,
Diamond's like, "I've been saying
actually,
please,
if you
you
shatter a
even
gem,
to lower
you
life
can.
forms." And then and
Actually, if you shatter a gem, you can put them back together.
Oh
According
yeah,
to
I
uh,
was gonna bring. That's like one thing another thing I know. I saw this
that
clip where
that
this guy shattered a gem, and then there was literally no fucking consequences. So can
yeah,
gems just
that's like
not die? That
okay. Let me. That is not an issue in this point in the movie because that's a thing in Steven Universe
Yeah, I
Future
know, but I
that
want to bring
rocks
that
up.
up
But
now
yeah,
because when else am I
it's
gonna be able
very
to
funny that
talk
they just
about
like
that?
they reverse any consequences. But that's a different bad Steven Universe thing.
Yeah,
But
but
the bit where
yeah,
the diamonds is so funny because it's like these literal dictators that have committed genocide and like messing stuff up, and Steven's like, "Oh, you silly fools!" And
it's
it's
so
like,
dumb.
well, my favorite part is White Diamond's like, I've been saying please and thank you, even to lower life forms. And then Steven's like, what did we talk about? And it's like a fucking sitcom gag.
This is so weird,
Equal
especially
life
like
form.
I feel like with context, this is just so bizarre and stupid.
Steven
It's so
Universe is a lot like your racist grandfather.
What?
it is.
It's
No, that's
so
how they
funny.
treat it. Like,
It's so casually in that sense, and for the people who are established, like you go a couple episodes back in the show, these are like our big threat. So
I
I don't
like
know.
literally not even a couple episodes back, one episode, the finale, White Diamond is like possessing people, and it's like okay,
See this
and now
like
she's
I've
just
seen this
fine.
like random like violent. I don't know. It's like a weird, violent almost scene where like she tries to fucking murder Steven
Yeah, no,
brutally for
she
to
pulls
pull the gem,
his
and
gem
then it
out.
leads to
Yeah,
the she's
she's
thing.
that scene's really bad because they try and tease like, oh, is it Rose? But then it's not. It's lame.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but that
but no,
was
this opening's really funny. The song is so goofy because it sounds like a fucking Disney opening song, and like at least it tries to be that. Like I don't know. It's like this
yeah.
isn't
Like
a
I
common
said, a
thing.
lot
That's
of
like
these type of like cartoon, they love becoming Broadway musicals,
yeah.
especially like Steven Universe makes sense because
Yeah, exactly.
it's
This
always a
is like so
musical.
trying
It's a
so hard
yeah.
to be that.
They're
It's
trying
so funny.
really hard
Yeah,
here, So
they really are. But no, I love the lyric in that song where they're like, you know what it meant to love her, even though he didn't know her.
yeah, if
Like
anything, I'm pretty sure Steven's mom is a terrible person.
she is, and this movie like feeds into that even more, but
She
also
Well, the
tries
whole
to
thing
make
is
abandoned
the
someone
really weird
for
thing about
10,000
that
years
is they
for no
say
good
that,
reason.
and then at the ending of the movie,
She's
first of
like,
all, this
you
movie has a
remind
really
me so much of her, even though she
yeah,
like
exactly, and
made
it's
her
like, well,
depressed for 6,000
why would
years.
that be a positive in this context? But this movie has
Yeah,
a really weird thing where they just kind of first of all the diamonds are just kind of written out of the movie really quickly, which I think
it's good because we
I mean I guess
don't
it's a
want
good
them here.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just weird how they just fucking pop up again in their terrible looking ship.
Oh, the ship is so bad. It looks so
It
stupid.
looks really,
It's
really
just
goofy. Holy cow.
For the
disgusting.
record, Anthony, you wouldn't know this, but in the finale of Steven Universe, they're fighting that ship for most of it.
What?
It's such a goofy
Yeah, they
visual.
do. It's wild, actually
That
insane.
is stupid.
And
That sounds
no,
really stupid.
the ship also has legs. It has pink diamond legs, but they
Oh,
don't have that on the design.
That's
they
But
removed.
the bit where the diamonds show up again is really funny because it's like White Diamond. Oh, I forget the exact line, but she's like, uh, judging different life forms is wrong, and it's like, okay. She's just
all
like
right, bro.
casually,
Whatever.
yeah.
Like,
Uh,
hmm
I want
and
to point out.
it's so funny. It's so funny seeing like literal established to be evil dictators, and like, oh, they're messing up, but they're learning. Oh, she doesn't shatter anymore. It's
Yeah.
so
On
wacky.
the topic of the beginning, I want to bring up the most interesting thing to me is so the whole thing. Stephen leaves his message, he leaves, and then he's talking to Connie, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Connie, how you doing?" And she's like,
And she's
"Well,
going to
I gotta
space
go
camp.
to space camp."
She's going to
Which
Yeah,
okay,
space camp.
here's another thing. I don't understand how does the I don't quite get the time frame of this movie. I didn't
the
really
the
like.
time frame doesn't make sense because like you were saying at the start of the movie, Steven sent out this message, and that's when Spinell finds out.
Yeah, then
But
she
then
does
like
all of that and
and then
somehow
like
makes it to
okay,
him
and then
that
let's
quickly.
say okay, so you have the diamond song, and then you have the happily ever after song. In that, it's like a total of like let's say 8 minutes. And in that time, she somehow finds a giant drill that can poison an entire planet,
Where the
and
fuck did
also
she get that from? I was gonna
and also,
ask
no,
that.
not just the drill, and also she managed to find the location to get directly to Earth, and also she somehow found a weapon that can literally reset people's entire life,
I don't
all
The
in
know.
thing
like
I
about
eight
this
don't.
minutes,
is
all in like
wild
eight
is
minutes.
It's
also another thing
bizarre.
you have to consider, right? Is if we're going by the movie's logic, she was still in that fucking spot for that long. So if she knew how to do all this, like, come on, come on.
Yeah,
She was able to
exactly,
do it extremely quickly. Like,
and
holy
also,
cow,
For
it
she
someone who
wasn't
doesn't
absolutely
know what's
speed runned
beyond
it.
this one spot, she clearly knew more than like,
Yeah,
okay, bro, whatever.
how are her
and
legs
also
even
it's like
still working? How can she
this
stand up
movie is
properly?
this movie's set 2 years after the finale, and it's like she only just now realized this. Surely they'd have some sort of message to the entire Gem Empire that Spinell would see on that thing that's just kind of conveniently
I
there.
just feel like
Like,
Spinell
surely they.
should have seen something other than
Yeah,
nothing until
exactly.
that
Like,
message.
over 6,000 years, you're telling me they didn't send any,
Wait,
like,
6,000? I
messages
thought it
through.
was
You're telling
10,000.
me that the
I did
term
not
for
keep track of.
fucking white diamond
Uh,
was not advertised to people? Like, okay,
yeah,
okay,
exactly. Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
You think that
It's.
everything that happened, I feel like a lot of it would probably be advertised to like, shown to like the entire like universe like that, how big of a thing
Exactly.
that
And it's
is.
like,
It's
why are
Yeah,
they
it
just now
would.
doing this
Yeah.
to like a random report of Steven recapping information that most of these gems would already know,
it's all this
just so the
stupid
audience
shit that's
knows?
just here to make the like this all I don't know, it's ridiculous. Another thing I want to mention, skipping a bit, this is one of the things that I thought was like probably one of the dumbest parts of the movie for me. But
Yeah.
there's a scene, okay, so like Steven's able to talk it out with Spinell and whatnot, and then they get Spinell to turn off the injector, and then right after that,
Oh,
like he
this
just
bit is
starts.
so bad. Yeah.
So basically, he starts. Okay, so how can we start making this about me now? Okay, let's just
It's
forget
so no.
about.
The worst part of this is the only reason this goes wrong is because for some reason, okay,
Steven
so
just
Spinell uses.
stands still there. Like he doesn't
I
say
realize.
anything. He doesn't try to
No, I
talk
real.
with her. He acts like a fucking idiot in this scene for no good
I know.
reason.
I realize. Okay, I realize we haven't really said the plot of this movie, but okay, basically the plot is Spinell comes to Earth and resets all of the Gem's memories, and
Yeah, no,
also
they gotta get
resets
their memories
Steven's
back.
powers. But no, okay, it's so stupid because somehow Steven's powers being reset means that he can't put the rejuvenator away inside of Lion's mane. Which okay, this requires some in show lore,
Yeah, I
but
don't
the
know. I was
lore is basically
confused. Why can't he just put it in his main? Why can't?
no. So
Why that
okay,
was weird.
basically the lions got those powers because Rose had a bunch of pet lions and she revived one of them, and that led to him being like pink and having this power. But it's stupid because like
Oh.
that is not Steven's power. That's something Rose did. So
Yeah, that's
why is
not.
this?
That doesn't make any. I was like,
Didn't
Yeah,
why
so
would
Rose
he not
why
be
is it?
able to store something in his main? I was like, how does that?
It's entirely because they want to have this bit where Spinell's like, oh. you were just gonna reset my memory, and that's why you have the rejuvenator. It's so fucking
Like
stupid.
I can kind of understand like out of like with Spinell's abandonment issues of her being extremely paranoid. I just find it weird that Steven just doesn't fucking say anything and just
But
acts
no,
like a fucking idiot.
what's weird is that this is immediately after they resolve that as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. I feel
They,
like
they try
Steven,
and
if
have like
Steven just like said, "Okay, I'm sorry," I would just like I feel like if you just learned how to talk properly, it was like
It's so
what
because
no,
pacing wise,
but
that
now
ending
it's
doesn't
just
even make any sense either. Because why would you have her backstory, that's sad, but like, oh, you can learn from that spell. They're like, yay, wholesome. And then they're like doing that. And then the thing happens, and then she's like, oh no, I'm evil again. Oh. And then the
yeah,
climax
it's
happens,
literally
and then they
just so the
redeem her
movie.
again, and it's like, what are you
Yeah,
doing? The
It's a
same
it's
waste of time. What
literally
was the
events
point with
repeat.
redeeming her the first time? I guess if it
it's
doesn't
literally
Exactly.
mean
Why didn't you just
anything.
have the climax after her like backstory scene? That doesn't make that's how you
it's
structure a story.
literally
That doesn't
just
make sense.
so they can like
Stupid.
It's the
give the
weirdest
I
part. It's the
movie.
hate it.
dumbest part of the one of the dumbest parts of the
It,
movie for me.
I mean, okay, I'd say like the entire last 20 minutes kind of tanked this movie because there's a. It's not just that. Okay, I'll say the way they get the gem's memory back. I think it makes enough sense for Amethyst and sort of Pearl, but for Garnet, it's really weird
They
because
kind of
they
just
have
like
a
I
traumatize
feel
her
like
again. Or
Garnet
like,
just kind
hey, you
of
got your
comes
memory
back
back. Like,
randomly. It
okay, bro,
feels just because the
whatever.
plot
no. Well,
needs her
with
to
Garnet, it's
almost.
like
Mhm.
Nell says the word truth, and then somehow this makes Garnet go, "Oh my god, the truth!" And then she
This
starts
is
going,
just like
"It's
the time I
true."
heard the word truth.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
like
god, it's like the true kind of love. Wow.
Garnet's thing is not the truth; it's love. But then they're like, "Oh no, it's the true
And
kind
then
of
she
love." And
starts
it's like,
singing a
how would she
song.
relate that to that? It's so stupid. And also, okay, the scenario where they try and refuse Garnet is really weird because it's like I kind of like it's kind of charming. Like, oh, Ruby's impressed by Sapphire, and I like the in the actual Ruby Sapphire backstory they have it so Ruby saves Sapphire, and I like that they kind of reverse that here. But also, it's really weird if you think about it, because it's like, is that just what happened now? Like, is that like history they had gone? It's just like, oh no, Sapphire was the one that saved Ruby. Like, I
I
know they get
don't.
their memories back, but it's really weird to think
It's
about. They
also
just
weird they just
reset.
add that like fucking construction place so that shit can fall so
Yeah.
like and again, like, okay, bro, whatever. But
Yeah, and it's like
mm,
there's a kind of neat, it's kind of neat foreshadowing for that where when they first come back. I like that song by the way, the Pearl introduction one where she's like, Ruby got it's a neat bit, but
this
I like
one is not
the
the best
best
example
example
of
something.
phase.
I
Yeah.
like Pearl's expression in that bit and Amethyst copying her. That's just
Yeah,
funny.
that was a
Mhm.
fun. That
Yeah,
was a moderate fun. I'm gonna be
yeah.
honest. I don't even
That's,
like. I I like some of the songs in this movie. Like I
I
think
like
some.
most of the songs.
I think
Yeah,
most of them okay. I remember like I don't know, some of them I'm not as into, but not as but
the main
I don't
one
know,
I
I
like is the
don't
first one Spinell sings. That's like the best
Yeah,
one.
I have
I
a
like
friend
the
who definitely
Spinell
does.
songs. I like the opening song. I like the one Amethyst song, and there's
I li-
probably a fifth one I'm forgetting
I
right
like
now, but all of
I
those are
like I
really
like
good.
the okay, I'm gonna mention him. Steg. I hate that
Um,
scene, but I really like that song. That's a really
It's
good
a.
song.
I feel like if we remove just like
mhm.
it's weird because the fucking song itself. I don't like the lyrics, just the tone of it. I like. I feel like if you just remove the context of what it's supposed to be, I'm fine with it. But like, I just don't like the tension there.
The
It's very
context
weird.
is so that scene is so fucking weird because first of all they go to Sadie's concert, which is so funny that in this movie they still need to incorporate Sadie having a band.
They
Uh,
have to put in
okay,
that band stuff.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't know this, Anthony, but for some reason in the final season of Steven Universe they dedicate an oddly large portion of it to Sadie, this random side character starting a band. It's so
What?
odd.
That's
Mm,
weird.
It's like
okay, I will
it's like
say I've seen those episodes. I love them.
they're
They're
so
so
funny.
funny.
They're so
And
stupid.
see, the thing with Steven Universe, I guess I'll bring this up now because in tandem to the show, and it sort of applies to the movie too, but not obviously not as much. I think it's the thing people really hate the idea of like the fucking Steven Universe spends so much time on their like the town as opposed to like the story or whatever. And I think obviously that some of parts of that are valid because like okay, you can't be spending more time on fucking Onion than like your main character's arcs. On some level, I do kind of appreciate it, like, like this show that has such a love and appreciation for like its wide cast of side characters. Like if I love the show, I would probably love that because every little character gets something. And I really appreciate like
Yeah.
that dedication to the full cast, I guess. The problem is
They get fun
every Steven
episodes out of
Universe
that.
side character I either don't remember or I like ironically. So,
I
not
remember.
great.
Obviously I remember all of them, but it's like it is just very funny how much time they
Name
dedicate to
every
that.
Steven Universe side character speedrun. Go.
Okay. So we got Kofi, Jenny, Nana. Okay, I could actually
Okay.
do that, but no, right.
You probably could, we can't derail that one.
I could. That's very
Well,
funny. But
um, the thing is, okay,
uh,
this kind of applies for all of them, but the whole thing of the movie of like going, we got to find this person's memory, this person's memory, this person's memory. It again kind of confuses me of the tone of who the movie's for in terms of like, does it want to be a reintroduction for new viewers, or does it want to be like a thing for pre-established fans? Because for pre-established fans, they're just like, oh, I remember the Garnet and Garnet backstory. I remember
yeah,
Amethyst thing. I remember Pearl's thing, which is fine. But I feel like for a
it,
movie,
it's.
there should be like it's kind of neat in a sense that the movie is a celebration of aspects of the show. At least I think like you're
I
on
mean,
to
yeah, it is. It tries to be, but then it also tries to be an exploration of an entirely new character, and also
yeah.
tries to tie into the ending of the show. It tries
Also,
to
for
do a
fans
lot.
who haven't seen the show, like Anthony over here and me, I don't think that stuff really works as an like of those moments. Like I don't know, the fucking. I know people really like that Ruby Sapphire like origin episode, and I think fucking.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
Steven Universe the movie does that justice.
It
Shocking.
okay. I kind of don't like it in the sense of like they really rush it, on which obviously they have to for movie context. But it's like,
The movie rushes everything. Honestly, this thing goes at a fucking mile
oh
a
yeah,
minute.
definitely. But it's like it's weird how that part is like okay, they get that cover very instantly, but it's not in the very natural way. Because like I don't. I'm not gonna be like Steven Universe is really good or anything. It's not. But that origin episode is like probably the best episode of the show. So it's like it is kind of weird how they do it here in that sense. And then obviously,
Mhm.
like I said, the moment where Garnet herself actually gets her memory back is really stupid, as I said. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
I
believe
think
yeah,
about it.
I
The
believe
telegraph is
like the
super
other
like.
parts with
Mhm.
the other two gems, but like yeah. Also, back
The
to that
telegraph is super
song.
annoyingly also, by the way, because they're like the opening song's like, I'm Pearl and here's my backstory. I'm Garnet, here's
yeah.
my backstory. I'm Amethyst, here's my
Because we
backstory. It's like,
gotta
oh,
make
I
sure we
wonder if that's
refresh.
gonna play a part in events
Yeah,
later.
it's like
Wink,
literally,
wink,
it's like,
nudge, nudge.
oh, Pearl needs to get her independence. Well, we'll sing "Independent" together. Garnet
Yeah.
had
Yeah,
a
that
love.
song, the
Yeah,
Independent Cafe. I feel like
that song's great.
that
That
song
song's great.
lyrics.
It's
I
all
like the
good.
lyrics. I guess I feel like if you just
Yeah.
remove the context, it's like a good song. Like just like
Okay,
You can't
completely
do that with a
remove
lot
it.
of songs, but
can I explain the context of that scene and how fucking weird it
It's
is?
so fucking weird. That's like the main thing. I
So,
feel
so,
like I can't even enjoy the song because of how weird
so
the
okay.
context is.
It's not even just the fact that Steven fuses with his dad.
Yeah, that's
It's the fact
fucking
that
weird on me. I don't.
it's
That's
a
like
okay. It's a okay. First of all, it's at a Sadie concert, which is already kind of funny. And she's like, "It's the end of the world concert," and then Sadie, of course, gets a song because of course she does. But the first weird part of that is the fact that Amethyst turns into Rose to try and get Pearl's memory back, which you wouldn't know this, Anthony, but there's a really fucking terrible episode of Steven Universe where Amethyst turns into Rose in order to traumatize
yeah.
Greg to get him to watch a show about a butler with her.
Jesus.
It's
Okay.
so
I
fucking
It
realize
sounds
weird.
okay.
really
This
funny,
shit
actually.
fucking I thought of this because there's a joke that okay, they try to do a joke here, but the delivery is so bad. Where Amethyst is like, she pretends that she still lost her memories in front of Greg. She's like, "Oh no," and then she's like, "Ha, I know I wasn't." And Greg's like, "Not the time." And it's such a fucking corny ass sitcom bit where it's like, "What the fuck?"
But, oh no,
I
no, it's
laughed,
fine.
but
They
certainly
do
not
that
for
joke.
the.
They do
Yeah.
that joke twice. They do it with Peridot
Mhm.
earlier, where Peridot's like, "Amethyst, I can't bear to see you without your memories," and she's like, "Dude, I'm back," and it's like, "Okay, what's the
Mhm.
joke there? Why did they do that
Mhm.
setup twice? So odd."
Mhm.
But
I oh, but the line I noted there is like this the only by the way, Peridot is so shafted in this. She could have
yeah, I know, right? She gets like
used, but
3
oh well.
scenes. It's very sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of them do. There's
It's
one
funny
line
because
I know there where
they have
she's
the whole
talking
song
about.
where Bismuth, Lapis, and Peridot, well mainly Bismuth, are motivating Steven, and they're like, "We're gonna get them all back, yeah, yeah," and then they're barely in the movie.
Exactly,
Yeah, they
exactly.
don't do
The
shit.
most thing I noted about Peridot is this one line where she's like, "Oh no, I touched the thing. I could have lost all my character development." Like, okay,
Why would she
Yeah,
say it like
whatever.
that, bruh?
that's really like forced.
You're not
'Cause,
him, bro.
I
Come
could
on.
have. It's like,
I could
I
have
mean,
lost all
to,
my
that,
characters. Hello.
to be fair, Peridot is the only character in the show that has like an actual complete character arc. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Anyway,
heard. I know this
yeah.
because they said for each of the characters that we tried to kill Steven once.
Oh
And
yeah, that joke is so weird. Lassus is like, Paradox like, it took me 3 months to stop trying to kill Steven. It took me a day, and then Lassus is like, I'm still hanging on that, and it's like, bro, what?
that's kind of fucked up
They
to
all
make a
just lost
joke
their
out of.
they all just lost their memory, and they're all like, yeah, I want to kill you, Steven. Like,
You
okay,
spell
That's a
it worse.
weird joke to make.
it's like, it's kind of funny if you have context of the show. It's just like, why are they saying that right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's what's another thing I want to talk about? I I like
I was gonna.
going back to to Spinel. I like her as a character here. I think the voice acting like is really good. Like it especially is have and is highlighted well in this scene when she is like beating like the crap out of Steven
Yeah.
like
You
blocks her with
can't
this.
make everything better by singing
Oh yeah, that was
some
funny to me, by
stupid
the way.
song.
That
There's
scene
something
where she just punches Steven down, I laughed at that. I found that
the
really funny.
dialogue in that part is so fucking goofy.
Yeah.
But I was
Also,
gonna.
we gotta address the song that is memed every time someone
Ah,
talks about how
change.
bad
Okay,
Steven
honestly,
Universe is.
change is funny because it's literally only 2 verses.
Yeah.
Like it's the song most people know from this movie, but it's like
It's
really
like the
short. It just
biggest
has a
meme song because it's like what comes
Wait,
to mind
hold
when
on.
people make
Let's
fun of
the
Steven
iconic
Universe.
part where he's up in the air and he's like, "You can make it
We
better.
don't have to fight.
We don't
It's
have to
so
fight." Dun, dun,
hilariously
dun.
cheesy.
It's so I love it, honestly.
It's like it's
And then
honestly, Steven, it's kind of inappropriate almost to sing this while Spinell's
it
having
is
like
like
this.
he makes this whole thing about his growth. Oh my god. Okay, I'll
This
talk
is
about
not
this in a bit. I want
about
to.
you.
No, the bit where he's like climbing up the rejuvenator and is like, everything's going wrong. The world's ending. Someone's trying to kill me. This is the story of my life. It's like that's meant to be like, oh, what gets his powers back, but also it's like,
Yeah,
Steven, you didn't lose your memory. What do you
exactly.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's also just another bit where Steven's really hilariously emo. Like him like, this is the story of my life. All this bad stuff's happening. It's like, bro,
The scene
calm
where
down.
Spinell's about to drop Steven to his death is like,
Oh yeah,
damn.
yeah. And again, we've mentioned how like stupid the setup for that is, and how Garnet coming back here doesn't really make
Yeah,
sense. But yeah,
that was stupid. Yeah.
I probably have some more notes to this fight, but I'll save them for later. I want to talk about the Steg bit and how the implications of this in several ways are
Do you really
questionable.
have to dissect this moment?
I do. Trust me. Trust me.
God damn it.
Because it links to one of my biggest frustrations with the show in general. But it's like, okay, first of all, the Amethyst thing is weird. Why does she turn into Rose again and repeat that really awful episode? Second of all, why the fuck can Steven fuse with Greg?
This doesn't
That's
make
so
sense. Greg is a normal human being. That doesn't make
well.
any.
Okay, see, that's the thing. He can do that. He fuses with Connie in the show,
Yeah, I saw.
but
I know about that. I don't understand
it's
how that
really
works.
I don't like it in the show with
I
Connie.
find
It's
it
kind of
like I
uncomfortable.
don't know. Like you don't need to
Is that
fuse. Also, I think it's weird because it's like a father and son connection
how
thing.
does okay, first of all, how does the anatomy of that
Yeah,
work? And
exactly.
also,
Like they
okay,
have the
why do
same
these like
DNA and anatomy. Basically, it's just such a weird
what
concept.
what also the fusion design makes no sense because like these two like these two like overweight people fuse and they turn into this character who has like abs. Like
I
I
don't
don't
know. Why does he have
I
he
don't
has
quite
like
get
two
that.
arms? Because I guess like
Yeah,
they
that's also
also
really
I
weird.
don't know what's with the two arms. I don't know what's with the hair either. What the fuck is
His
going on?
design, Steg, apparently he's meant to be designed after a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character, which
Oh,
is really funny. Like,
what's
why is
real
that your
bizarre is the
design
fact that you
choice?
get no bitches.
Yeah,
Ouch.
yeah, it's it's quite odd. But then, okay, I like the song out of context, but in
Yeah,
context, it's
complete. If
really
we like, it is so hard to watch like the actual scene. If you like listen to it just like by itself without any context, it's like actually a good song, like
yeah, it's a
lyrically.
really great
It's a
song. Yeah,
nice
it's
song, but if you just
the
it's just so hard to listen to it now when you know the context and how fucking weird the whole
the
thing is.
the voice actor for Steg and the voice actress for Amethyst and Pearl's Fusion Opal. Shadow told me this, but they're in a band together, so that's why it sounds like. I think it's one of the better songs in the movie, but again, that moment in
The
context is
context
so.
ruins it though, almost. That's
It's
what's
so. It's probably like. Okay, the worst song in context is the
in
fucking
yeah,
spin-out.
definitely, because how fucking weird and like the tone. I don't even want to describe it. It's
Why?
just like you watch it
It's
and it's
just.
like, and you're
I,
gonna
I
have
remember
like the
even
same
in
reaction as I
2019,
have.
even in 2019, when I found out that Steven and Greg fused, I was like, what?
Yeah, even I was
Why?
put off by it when I was like 12 and watched this movie.
Yeah, it's quite uncomfortable. Yeah, but and then this also leads to a weird bit where it leads to the Spinel running away. But it's like, what, Stephen going off and disappearing? I guess that makes sense and being what led Spinel to remembering. But also, Spinel remembering is kind of inconsistent in general because with the other gems, they don't have it so they remember specific stuff. They have it so they get all their memories back at once. But with Spinel, it's like, oh, she just gradually remembers specific stuff and then it all comes back. It doesn't work in the same way despite it being the same setup. So it's a bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they also technically have the bit where Steven almost walks off from Spinel and she's like, "No, don't leave me," and that's meant to set it up. And I
Yeah,
think that's kind
supposed
of
to
forced.
foreshadow that.
Yeah,
And I do
this movie
like
does.
I don't know, like her performance is like the voice actor's performance
Yeah,
really carries the character. I feel like they do a good job
definitely,
showing like her
definitely.
pure disdain and anger. As a result, she's the best part of the movie, even though her backstory just further like makes Steven's like mom
She's
just like a
she's the
further, I
most
don't know.
entertaining part of the movie. Like any part of her is very fun.
Yeah,
It's just her
definitely.
as an actual character makes no sense.
Yeah, just the whole
It's just in how
concept. I get. I don't know. Like,
in
I don't
how
know
nobody
how it is in
found
the
her.
show, but like, do they ever look back at like Pink Diamond fondly in some way?
Uh, okay, I'll explain this is kind of a complicated thing to explain, but I'll do it as simply as I can. Pink Diamond in the show, they try and do a thing. Okay, in season 4, I think it's decent. I think it's good in season 4 where Steven questions like Pink Diamond, or at that point Rose Quartz doing bad stuff. But then by season 5 and especially Future, they overcomplicate it to a point where it's like, oh, was Pink Diamond good or was she bad? Oh. It's like every conflict in the show has to revolve around her,
Yeah,
and it gets
I have a
really
feeling that because literally every time I hear something about Steven Universe, it always ties back
it
to her.
gets it gets so tiring how every
But
conflict in the
I
show.
honestly like they literally say that in this movie, and as a result, I just can't help but think that
Yeah, okay,
Steven's mom is like a
I'll
terrible
mention my favorite.
person.
I'll mention my favorite line. I'll
Actually,
mention
I could totally
my
believe it.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
fucking
That
thing.
comic's
Yeah, I was
really
gonna
funny.
say like the
And he's
fact
like,
that
"Oh, do they remember her fondly or not?" It's like he's talking about her fondly at the start of the movie, but then he's like, "No, I can believe that she'd abandoned someone for 6,000 years." Like,
yeah.
okay, bruh.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
and
I
also,
think
okay,
I think it could be an interesting thing to have well actually not really with the movie, but you're talking about before about Pink Diamond and the whole thing. It would be neat to have some level of moral complication to it, how like
and
some
they
depth
do,
to it, but
yeah, and they
from
do
what I
that
know, it
well in
just
the
kind of
show
feels
at point. But when again the twist ruins it like completely. So
Yeah.
that's about the show.
doesn't
But
Rose own slaves, by the way? Like or
uh,
did she,
yeah,
didn't
and then also, in future they confirm that she, you know, White Diamond's Pearl, who's
yeah.
actually Pink Pearl.
Mhm.
She gave her that eye injury through mentally torturing her by having tantrums. They
Oh, that's
confirm that in
fun.
future. Yeah,
Um
that's really fun. Yeah, it's so messed up. And then they confirmed that she also did that to Pearl. Like she gave Pearl similar trauma apparently. Like, okay, bro.
oh that's
Uh,
fun.
it is
Yeah.
very fun. But no, that's
Okay,
that's
right.
not about the movie. That's another show's issue. But nah,
Mhm.
with the movie, it's like kind of frustrating that the conflict still has to be about Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz. It's like the show by season 5 cannot write a conflict without it being linked to a character that we've literally never seen physically apart from in flashbacks. Like, I don't know. It's just like you kind of wish the show could do more, and the fact this movie is just kind of more of that is a little bit frustrating. Because it's like, okay, we get it. Pink Diamond's a bad person. Yeah, yeah. I
Whoa,
don't know.
really? Crazy.
Yeah,
That's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. But
Mhm.
then also it's conflicting because it's like the opening of the movie's like, oh, the diamonds, they want her back. Yeah, they had such a good familial bond. It's like, yeah, I'm sure these dictators got on really well with the person who rebelled against them.
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid. Oh my god. Okay, this reminds me of one of my favorite lines in the movie because it's so fucking stupid. During the ending bit where the diamonds come to pick up Spinel, when Steven's like, "Yeah, they're a little bit hard to get along with," and it's like,
Oh,
Steven,
really? Oh, I wouldn't have.
no,
I would
no,
never would
it's
have
so
known.
funny.
That's
It's so funny because like
crazy.
the opposite thing is the issue. He gets along with them way too easily, considering all of the things that they've
Yeah, I've
done. Like
seen the
what?
clips of the movie and I'm like, I've seen clips of the show and thinking about it more now. By the way, this movie's probably getting worse the more I talk about it. My rating might change.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
anyways,
Yeah.
um yeah, just seeing like
Yeah,
some of that context makes everything just feel so bizarre and just
it
tonally
it
and just
is.
fall apart in that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, okay, I have a logic stipulation, which usually I wouldn't do, but also for this movie, it's really easy to. The injector
Mhm.
makes no sense in how it works because okay, Spinel plugs this thing into the earth that just like evaporates everything the moment it touches it. Steven touching it makes him like bleed, and then this thing can go throughout the
Oh, yeah, they
entire
have blood in
town.
this movie too. That's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
they do show blood.
Whoa!
Steven he wipes the
And he
blood out of
wipes
his
off
nose.
the blood. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that this like poisonous gas that evaporates everything it touches goes through the entirety of Beach City, and everything's just fine. Like they just have to clear it up a bit at the end, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
how does
Bro
that?
just has
And
to
also,
kiss the fucking ground. That is so
yeah, that's
stupid,
so
by the way.
stupid. And God, it's like, oh, he's gonna have to do a lot of smooching. Like, shut up.
That's so
My,
dumb. Like the fact that
there's
you
a
could just
really fun.
fix it by kissing. That's
But
weird.
then that's a pre-established thing where he can heal people with his spit. That's a thing
What?
in Steven
That's
Universe.
stupid.
No,
I
that's
find
that's
that
the thing.
stupid. I
That's
find that really dumb,
it is
actually.
it is quite no. It ties into one of like the biggest flaws of the show where they just give Steven random powers. But
Uh,
yeah, it's really. But also that doesn't make sense. So it's like they establish more that he heals people with that power, not the entire Earth. So I don't know. But also, there's a really funny bit where okay, so Steven gets hit with the goop and that makes him bleed, and then Greg gets hit with it and it for some reason turns his arm grey. Like what? Why does it work differently when it hits Greg? Like it's a very specific thing, but I find it odd. They're like, oh no, they don't want Greg to get injured, so his arm is just grey. Okay, yeah, it's odd. Uh,
Yeah.
I have quite a few notes on the final fight with Steven and Spinell because I find the dialogue here really funny. I mentioned the
It's
bit where
where the
he's like,
meme comes from. The
"Yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's
yeah,
what we're talking
yeah,"
about. Yeah,
it's like,
earlier, yeah.
yeah. But I mentioned the bit where he's really emo, like, "A gem I barely know is trying to kill me. This is the story of my life. What piece am I missing?"
Would
When he
be
wants to get
mad
his
funny
powers
if
back.
Spinel just said fuck it and dropped him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a well animated fight scene. I can give it
Oh
that.
yeah, I think
But
this movie's well animated, has some good songs,
definitely,
has
definitely.
its moment. I can't say it's like
I will say it's kind of a style argument movie in that way. Like, oh yeah, the songs are really good. Oh yeah, it's really good visually.
it's a
And
lot of
then
technical aspects, a lot of the story
Character
decisions are
posing.
mostly
Character
really
posing. I
stupid.
love
yeah,
character
yeah,
posing.
Spinell is really well done in that aspect. Yeah, uh, her dialogue here is so funny though. I love when she's like, "When you change for the better. When I change for the worse." Like,
It's
just so
it's so fucking cheesy, man.
it is, and the fact that this is like the big emotional blowout, and they're saying lines like, "No, no, you don't understand. You can't change the way I feel." That's an actual line. That is not
That song
paraphrasing.
itself
That
is
is
so fucking cheesy. I can't really.
it
It's a
is.
shame
We
because
don't have to fight. And
after this scene, I mentioned this earlier, but then you have Spinell having this like realistic and like well performed mental breakdown scene while he punches Steven. And it's a good scene, but this comes after that song sequence, and it makes it just feel very like I don't know, like it just doesn't.
the fact that they in universe acknowledge the fact that Steven is singing a song. You can't make everything better by singing some stupid
I
song.
find,
I
like I
like
said, I found that moment hilarious when
that
she
bit's
just
really
punches
funny,
him to
and
the ground.
I like her giant like wrapped around fist.
Giant wrapped around fist,
Mhm.
like yeah, in general,
Yeah.
just the visuals with her are really
Also,
good.
okay, I just remembered another bit on the moment where Steven's being really emo, and he's like, "Wait a minute, the power I have is the power to change." And then he starts singing the fucking song, and that's what gets
Yeah,
his power back.
pulls it
It's
out.
so
Here's the
corny.
whole thing I don't like. Obviously this is made worse before the fucking movie because the whole thing in the show redeemed the Nazis, yada yada yada. But the thing is, what I don't like is I always appreciate. I guess by this point in the show it's different because Steven goes on his little emo arc or whatever. But there's that whole thing of the whole thing is Steven is presented as really overly nice for most of the show. And I think what's really important is if you're gonna have a character who's uncharacteristically nice, they got to have a good like breaking point or like a good division line there. Well, okay, they can do all this, but this is a point where they like he gets upset. And Steven technically has that, but in future they kind of fumble at the wrong door.
Steven, they do it in future. They do it terribly in the other direction.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
But here it's like, okay, where's your line to like, okay, if the diamonds can be redeemed, if these people can be, it's like, well, what is Steven's lie? I feel like I don't
Well,
really
see,
know.
that's the thing. In like, I do think redeeming Spinell in this movie is a good idea, which I wouldn't say about most Steven Universe redemptions. Obviously, like the
Yeah,
diamonds and even some minor characters like Jasper getting redeemed is a bit weird. But it's like no, Spinell being redeemed makes sense. She's doing all of this out of anger and frustration and like loss. But also, it still is a bit sudden how she was trying to kill everyone on Earth with no care like a few minutes before. But no, they're fine. Yeah, she can go live with the other people who tried to kill everyone on Earth.
yeah,
That's
just like
wholesome.
yeah.
Like
No.
yeah.
And then I love
The,
that Connie just comes back right at the end and she's fucking
oh yeah,
blown.
she comes back and does nothing. Like why are you even here?
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also okay, it's really what is weird. She comes back via Lion's portal, but also they say that wasn't working. They say Lion's powers weren't working. So how can I just thought about that? That's really stupid. Um, yeah. Uh, I was thinking the bit with Spinell and the diamonds at the end is really really bad, because they have the same lyrics as the opening song with the diamonds, but also they fit Spinell even less. Where it's like you know what it meant to love her, and it's like, dude, this entire movie she's been acting out in frustration because of Pink Diamond abandoning her. I don't think
Yeah.
Spinell saying you remind me so much of her is a good thing. Like she should have hatred for this person, not like a desire to want to be with someone just
Yeah,
like
why do they
her.
want? They
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Pink, and that's not a good thing because Pink is a terrible
Yeah.
person.
Okay. I have an extremely small specific compliment for this, which it's just more a visual thing that I think is cool. In the show, there's a visual where the three diamonds they put their hands out and send a beam to corrupt all the gems on Earth, and then in this they have that same visual, but it's them reaching their hands out. So even you can, if you ignore the fact the diamonds are terrible characters, it's like oh, that's kind of neat.
Oh,
Oh, that's crazy.
It's yeah.
visual parallels. Whoa.
Yeah, it's one that
Wow.
doesn't make sense, but I don't know. It's like it's
They
something
get
my
thumbs
Steven.
up for me.
It's something my Steven Universe wired brain notices, even if it's stupid.
Mm.
But
They get a
oh
Marcy Ed Alric thumbs up for me. Good job.
yeah, thank you. But I like when Steven says there's no such thing as happily ever after. He's so fucking emo, like,
Mm.
bro. And then
This guy is very emo in this movie.
and then in the ending song he still says happily ever after. Here we are. Does happily
Yeah.
ever
Bro
after exist,
contradicts
Steven?
himself just like
Yeah,
that.
make up your mind, bro.
That whole
Uh,
ending kind of threw me for a loop. They're like, "Yay, everything's fine," and they cut,
and then they
and
cut to
then they're
them
like,
a
"Oh, they're
musical. It's like, are
dancing," and
you
then the
ready?
movie
Every
ends,
And then
day.
it be
and
and
I'm
it
like,
has the
"What
most
the fuck
Broadway
happened?"
ass ending sequence thing.
It's so funny. It's like Steven's like he's like everyone's giving him a standing ovation, and then
Bro
Greg
gets
comes out
You
with
did
flowers.
flowers.
They're
it,
walking down the
Steven.
stage.
It's
What the
so
fuck is
weird.
going on?
Yeah. Also, oh my god, the bit where the diamond ship leave and the yellow and blue diamond hands do like a finger heart is so goofy.
Eh,
Like the diamond ship
Mm.
should not be doing that, bro. They ain't about peace and love.
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I have said everything I think I've wanted to say here.
Let me. I think I've gone through all of my notes. But yeah.
I am.
Uh,
I'm gonna be honest. Talking about this movie has made me dislike it more. Just like remembering the context makes me like. I was pretty confident with like my rating beforehand, but I think I genuinely am
it's
just gonna probably like lower it.
I've I've seen this movie at
Loki,
least I've seen it 5 or 6 times, so I'm
Oh
very familiar.
wow.
Yeah, I'm
um,
very familiar with
Loki,
what
I
happens
would
in
give
it.
this movie like a 4 if it weren't for how the climax repeats itself like twice, and then that happens.
Yeah,
'Cause I
I'd
don't
give
think
it a
this is a
4 if it
very
wasn't for
hateable
that.
movie, unless you hate
Yeah,
Steven
definitely
Universe,
not.
which
No,
I don't think any
I
of
don't
us
think
do
it's
here.
that hateable of a
You
movie,
know,
but yeah.
no,
you
definitely
know.
not. It's a
It's a
very
bit of a
funny. It's a
silly
very fun
movie, I'll
movie.
say that much, but you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh huh.
It's a goofy hour movie, but
Yeah.
I have a fucking blast watching this as someone who enjoys both shitting on Steven Universe and just talking about it in general. I have a blast watching this, and in some respect, with show context, I can appreciate this more out of the later stuff because season 5 and future are like absolutely abysmal, and there's not much
Future
I can
especially
unironically.
sounds awful.
They're around on par, honestly. Yeah,
Yeah.
future's a bit worse, but
Yeah.
no, but it's like they're both like when they're both at a level where there's very little I can actually compliment about them. I'll take a movie where I can be like, well, Spinell has some good ideas to her. There's some neat stuff that reflects on the show in general, and it's a very, very fun movie. So
Yeah.
even
I
if I
think
think
it's great time. Very
it is,
enjoyable.
even if I still think it's really bad, I have a fucking blast watching it.
Mm.
Just
Needed a little
so
more
yeah,
needed more sour cream and onion,
that's true. He only gets
Lars,
one bit at the Sadie concert where he's
and
DJing.
and I needed Mayor X Mayor Dewey a little more.
He's
He's
in
in
the
the
Sadie
donut shop
concert.
for a
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah,
but not beyond that. I need
yeah.
Mr. Smiley,
Yeah, he doesn't show
Mr.
up.
Frowny,
Mr. Frowny's his
Dogbo,
he's
um,
only an
I have
he
no
plays
idea
all.
who you guys are talking about, by the way.
Okay.
Ronaldo, um,
Oh, Ronaldo gets a bit. He gets a bit where Amethyst turns
um,
into him.
Oh, I know who that is.
well,
I know who that is
Yeah,
because I heard
I
like
love
I
Ronaldo.
think I heard Phantom Strider rant about that guy
Oh,
for
he
some reason.
hates Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
yeah. Everyone
Speaking of
hates Ronaldo, and for the life of like, I think it's so funny because it proves this like not theory, but this thing you see with a lot of shows where they'll have shows with genuinely awful people, and the most hated character will be a realistic guy who's kind of
I'm
annoying.
gonna be
I
honest.
do that.
Ronaldo
Yeah,
has like 2 really terrible episodes in the show, but I still find him really funny.
yeah,
Like,
that's valid. But
yeah.
but I just find the whole
Also, okay, I was
phenomenon
gonna mention.
funny when everyone like hates a thing, and then there's just like okay, but like
I like
the
the
mild.
visual of where Steven goes into Lion and then pops out Lars's head. It's so fucking goofy.
Yeah, that's weird.
It makes sense of show context in a really confusing way. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's a really neat. That's a background detail I like. They have there's this pretty good episode in season 4 where Lars is like baking this cake, but then he doesn't go through with actually selling it. And then this he has the cake and he's actually selling it. I
Oh,
think
that's
that's kind of
cute.
nice.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So it's a little thing, but I can appreciate the little nod there. It's better law. It's that one brief visual is better law stuff than they do with him in season 5 after
Mm,
that point. So yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Are we gonna get to our ratings now?
I
Uh,
said mine.
Oh
I
yeah, you
think
kind of said
Josh
yours
is the only
already.
one who hasn't
Mine
said
is
his.
like I've had it at a 5 before. I think based off this, I'm gonna lower it to a 4.
I would give
notice
it,
that
okay,
talking about and like thinking about these movies, my ratings have changed like while
My
recording
thing is,
this.
I checked my fucking podcast list, and I was looking at everything I got there, and I was like, okay, I gotta, because I do this after I watch the movie, I plop them down, and I'm like, okay, which it's fun to do now because you have it's so massive, you put all the history here. But I'm sitting down here and I look at my list, and I'm like, okay, Steven Universe the movie, it's a 3, but beside like fucking Barbie and Black Adam, which like Unk status right there,
That's crazy.
and
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I like it more than Barbie and Black Adam and other stuff on this row. And also, I have a million. Anthony, we cover way too many 3 out of 10 bad movies on this podcast. I swear to
Oh yeah,
God.
we do kind of. That's like
noticed
half of.
there's a
That's
lot.
a huge part
There's
of
a
it.
lot
Literally,
of
it's like half our
fucking, like,
fucking lineup. It's insane.
A lot of
But
3
I
out of
noticed
10s.
like, okay, there's a lot of 4 to 3s of hearts. That's a
Yeah.
very specific.
literally, it's such a big chunk of our
Yeah.
fucking.
You got a new one now, so that's cool.
Yeah, but you know what? It'll be. We'll call it a high 3 for now.
I
Mine's
would
a
agree.
high
And
4.
and I'll
guess.
say this much: I get more
Mid 4,
genuine
actually.
enjoyment as opposed to ironic compared to other movies I've given the 3 out of 10 with heart.
I get both genuine in the sense of I just enjoy Steven Universe even if it's stupid, but then also I get joy out of just making fun of this movie. So
Yeah,
yeah.
valid.
I genuinely enjoy the music, the visuals, and
Mm.
Spinell as a character. But then the rest I just kind of laugh at, and it's like, oh yeah, Steven Universe movie, yeah, cool, fun,
Yeah.
yeah.
Josh, I'm assuming I don't know if you said your rating, but it's like.
I did, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Campy Cast. Notice a lot of Steven Universe talk.
Yeah.
In this
Love
one,
Steven
not
Universe.
a lot of stuff there. Hopefully, you guys learned something.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I could talk about Steven Universe for 5 hours straight, and it would not be enough.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
1 hour was enough.
All right. Now pretend the ending of this has that thing they do at the end of. I think
I'll be
they
ready.
not the end of Steven Universe episodes where they like.
Oh
cut
yeah,
and
they
it's like the
only do
star.
that in season 1. But yeah, at the
Pretend
start.
that's happening right now, and
That's
now
fun,
we're
yeah.
on like the fucking coast, and there's like shorts, and that's what happens. Yeah, there's like shorts.
Yeah.
Pretend that's happening right now, audience, and there now you got a perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah, and they're playing the Rebecca Sugar song.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways,
yeah.
thank you for tuning in. Not much else to say, and bye-bye.